41%. Chapter 121 Good Fortune Qinglian. Heaven and Earth Exotic Treasure. Third change. Call. Li Yu checked the information of her eldest grandson Li Zimo. Name. Li Zimo. Identity. The third generation of the Li family. Cultivation base. Heavenly origin 4th stage. Martial arts. Taizan Heavenly Divine Chapter. Vigorous Demon Fist. Supernatural, 2nd level Demon True Intent. Baoshan Seal. Xiao Cheng. Blood City Mystic Demon 9th stage Thunder Knife. 3rd stage Profound Meaning. Thunder Knife Wheel. Unique Skill. 9 Heavens Yu Lei. 5 Tigers Broken Door Knife. Return to Origin. 5 Tigers True Meaning. Keisha Yuanyang Arrow Technique. Great Completion. Function Beibu. Xiaocheng. Abstruse Martial Arts. The Troll Wheel becomes the Thunder Wheel. Quote. That move is followed by the move of 9 Heavens Thunder, which is the ultimate move, 9 Heavens Yu Lei. Li Yu looked satisfied. The grandson is now the cultivation base of Heavenly Origin 4th stage. Physical strength reached almost 90,000 Jin. The attack power of the Taizan Natural Divine Seal True Qi in the body can reach 150,000 Jin. Add up. That's 240,000 caddies. This is a bit better than turning Divine Palace Great Master. And counting the 3rd stage's Blood Capital Secret Demon 9th stage Thunder Sword. The attack power is close to 400,000 caddies. There are also 787 Blessings of Functions 100 Steps and Dragon Pattern between eyebrows. Such strength, already complete, strong out of the 2nd rank Divine Palace Great Master. Unless the 2nd transfer to Divine Palace Great Master. The mastery of combat martial arts is extremely strong. Otherwise, they definitely can't beat Li Zimo at this time. I think other people will be promoted to Heavenly Origin 4th stage soon. 8 great masters in one subject, Tisk. If this gets out, I'm afraid it will frighten the forces of the Yan Kingdom into foolishness. Li Yu chuckled. Instruct the maid Ah Ching to peel the grapes and feed them to him. Lean back in the rocking chair. In a flash, such a day is too leisurely. He glanced at the message of Taizan Tianshengxian Zhang. At this time, the Taizan Heavenly God chapter only has the cultivation method of the 4th level. It's time to continue collecting cultivation technique, and let this Tsunere's martial arts deduce the 5th level of cultivation. These days, he didn't deliberately collect cultivation technique. There are so many people, but only 2 heavenly rank top grade true essence martial arts have been received. As for the top grade of the earth, he no longer accepts it. Although the Taizan Natural God chapter can self-repair the previous content. But since there are conditions, of course, every cultivation technique that is integrated, the stronger the better. Holding so many spirit coins in his hand, he wasn't afraid at all that he wouldn't receive the heavenly rank top grade true essence martial arts. It's just that I haven't used spirit coins to collect them before. After all, he has to give those traversers time to grow, so that more people know what spirit coins are. Otherwise, not many people know the function of the spirit coin. Isn't he showing the blind to dance when he takes it out? I have more than 1,700 spirit coins in my hand. But soon, after Dao Su and the others are promoted to Heavenly Origin 4th stage, the spirit coins in their hands will almost be consumed. It's time to continue distributing spirit coins to them. So it's time to mint another batch of spirit coins. He whispered to himself in his heart. Spirit coins were minted last time. More than 50 days have passed. This period of time, he has accumulated a large amount of exotic animal meat. The oven can be turned on again. The remaining alien meat from more than 50 days has been consumed. Only half of the heaven and earth spirit stones remain. A total of 30,000 spirit coins were minted. In the secret room, Li Yu shook her head lightly, a little lost, but also a little excited. This time, in fact, so many spirit coins can be minted. The most important thing is the remaining 4,000 caddies of low-level alien animal meat from the Divine Palace. Divine Palace low-level exotic animal meat. 1 caddy is equivalent to more than 5,000 caddies of ordinary animal meat. More than 4,000 caddies. It is equivalent to more than 20 million caddies of ordinary exotic animal meat. It can be seen from this. The value of the low-level meat field of the Divine Palace is astonishing. This is what the number 1 sect in the 6 kingdoms like Lingdao sect can bestow on its disciples. And in the country of Yan, he asked Empress Dowager Bai Qingling. Neither is the royal family. The other top powers in the Yan kingdom, at most, have heavenly origin high-rank meat fields. He opened the trade interface. Delete all the transaction requirements that were hung on it in the past. This time, only 3 transaction requirements are listed. Seller, Li Yu. Trading item, 10 spiritual coins. Requirement, Divine Palace Martial Arts Heavenly Rank Top Grade. Seller, Li Yu. Trading item, 10 spiritual coins. Requirement, the method of condensing the military soul. Seller, Li Yu. Trading item, minimum 100 spirit coins price negotiation. Requirement, Heaven and Earth Exotic Treasure. From the book, Prices of Distant Birds. Li Yu knew that there are many rare and exotic treasures in this world. And these rare exotic treasure, with the strength of today's traversers, most of them can't figure it out. Or there is no activation of that strength. Not only that, he also wants to prepare for the future. Make plans for yourself and your descendants to advance to the Divine Palace realm. What is the Divine Palace? It is the mansion of the gods. Certainly, 99 out of 10 Divine Palace Great Masters are just a further look at Dantian on the spot. Or, they don't have that kind of strength, that kind of background, and they really regard it as a god's mansion. Divine Palace realm has 2 paths. That is, all the Divine Palace Great Masters in the Yan Kingdom left, or in other words, all the Divine Palace Great Masters in the 6 kingdoms left. This is the usual way. Treat the Divine Palace as Dantian, and use the true essence to faintly outline the shadow of the Divine Palace. And the other way, it is based on the exotic treasure of heaven and earth. Really opened up the mansion of the gods. That would be like creating the world. Innate exotic treasure is required. In the past, he had mentioned it in those heavenly rank high-grade martial arts. But they don't know what a natural exotic treasure is. But since I got the book, Prices of Distant Birds, he will understand. There are many prices for exotic treasure above. Like a natural sword embryo. Good fortune Qinglian. Mother Chi of all matter. Star core. Pure lotus sky fire. Thousands of real water, etc., etc. There are countless numbers. But the price of exotic treasure these days, in the price of flying birds, that is also extremely terrifying. The lowest price. It is the natural sword embryo, the natural knife embryo, the natural spear embryo, the natural bow embryo, and so on. But even these are the lowest priced exotic treasure in the world. That is also the starting point of 100,000 spirit coins. Just ask, who in the 9th stage martial master realm can own more than 100,000 spiritual coins? Even Bai Huan, a true disciple of Lingdao sect, all his net worth is only more than 20,000 spirit coins. This is after she was promoted to Qiming, she can only have the sect reward. And on the 9th floor of Foundation establishment. I'm afraid he doesn't even have a net worth of 10,000 spirit coins. The cultivator of Lingdao sect is still like this, it is far from it. Not to mention other practitioners. Anyway, in the 6 Nations region, absolutely no practitioner can afford it. But trade interface is different. Other traversers don't have such a thing as distant bird prices. He doesn't know the value of the exotic treasure of heaven and earth at all. This completely gave him a chance to pick up the leak. As long as you can pick up and miss one, that's a lot of money to make. It is far more than the sum of all the properties of the Li family that he has been running for a year. One leak, that is getting rich, he believes. As long as a traverser gets, the Mets couldn't help but take it out and trade him. After all, spirit coins are too powerful. As long as there are enough spirit coins, he can increase the speed of practice by 10 or 20 times. Which time traveler doesn't want it? And now, he is not on the trade panel yet. I saw that other traverser ancestors used spirit coins as transaction currency. After the demand is hung up, he turned on World Channel to see the reaction. Damn it, spirit coins. Master Li Yu actually used spirit coins to buy heavenly rank top rank Divine Palace martial arts. What kind of coin is a spirit coin? Is there anyone who wants to say no? I'm terrified, let me tell you. The spiritual chi in a spirit coin is equivalent to the true chi in a 9th stage martial master. Oh my god, one is equivalent to 9th stage martial master with true chi all over his body. Don't you give me 7, I have some resources to bring my filial son to the 9th stage martial master. The people upstairs are thinking about farts. There is a loss in converting spirit power into true chi. Almost 3 spirit coins, and no shortage of beast meat, is enough for a 1st stage martial master to be promoted to a 9th stage martial master at 20 times the speed. This is awesome. I want it. Want to +1. This is a real treasure. Hey, I seem to have an exotic treasure. Let's not talk about it. I went to private chat to bake it. I won't say anything. I want my good granddaughter to exchange for a copy of heavenly rank high-grade martial arts in the sect, and I will not hesitate to sell the meat. The cows upstairs, the wolves are destroyed. Li Yu 1.9 watched with gusto. But in the blink of an eye. Indeed, a private chat popped up. And there's more than one. It's three. Three have what I need. His eyes are bright. I don't know if it's heavenly rank's high-grade martial art, or heavenly exotic treasure. Of course he hoped it was the exotic treasure of heaven and earth. Heavenly rank high-grade martial arts. Although also rare. But how can this kind of thing compare with the exotic treasure of heaven and earth? It's just a pity. The 3 pieces of information are all heavenly rank top-grade divine palace martial arts. A sleeve cloud atlas. A copy of White Mist Misty Art. A copy of 10 Directions Battle Chi Law. I still take it for granted. How precious is the exotic treasure of heaven and earth, even if the travelers today encounter. I'm afraid I can't. He shook his head. But that's not all. Another private chat interface popped up. Boss, I have an exotic treasure here, named Tower of Watch. Do you think it can be traded? I can hear it. There was some apprehension in the other party's voice. Watch Tower. Li Yu's eyes flashed. He knows this exotic treasure. It is an extremely terrible thing for defense. 41%. Chapter 122 Evolution. God Yan Vientian Star Map. 4th More. Watchtower. Although this kind of exotic treasure can only be regarded as the most common exotic treasure. It is similar to the natural sword embryo and the natural knife embryo. But, as long as it is a natural exotic treasure, any one of them is extremely precious and extremely terrifying. Among the 6 countries, I am afraid that only the Lingdao sect may have the exotic treasure of heaven and earth. The Chenkin coin furnace in his hand. In fact, it is also a natural exotic treasure. He thought it was power refining at first, but he only found out after seeing the daily use of the camp. So, that time, it was traded to Chenkin minting furnace with only a dozen talismans. That's blood money. Just this Chenkin coin furnace. It is much more than all the wealth of his Li family combined. Even, the combined wealth of all the forces in the entire Yan kingdom cannot afford the Chenkin coin furnace. And now, another exotic treasure appeared in front of you. Li Yu was delighted and excited, and replied, it can be traded. See his answer. The traverser named Wang Dao, on the opposite side showed even more excitement on his face. 100 spirit coins, although he also knows. The exotic treasure that this boss can acquire is absolutely extremely valuable. He sold at this time. You may lose a lot. But, he couldn't figure out what the use of the palm-sized watchtower in his hand was. Only when I got it. He tried it. The fire is not bad, and the knife and iron will not leave a trace. I just thought it was a baby. As for how he knew it was called the Tower of Show 21 Watch. That's the little tower engraved with. This time. He also plans to give it a try. If the transaction can be successful. 100 spirit coins, that will bring about earth-shaking changes to his entire family. A useless thing left in one's own hands. In exchange for 100 spiritual coins that can make the family's strength skyrocket. To him, not bad at all. Soon, transaction complete. Looking at the 100 spiritual coins with astonishing aura in front of him. Wang Dao grinned like a fool. Watch tower. Li Yu excitedly looked at her hands. That palm-sized, blood-colored little pagoda. The small tower is similar to the ancient watchtower, but it is simpler and more refined. On top of the tower, there is a miniature scarlet crossbow, and a miniature soldier stands beside it. Everything is normal. It's as if this is just a handicraft of folk artists. No one can think of it. This is actually an exotic treasure worth more than 100,000 spirit coins. Treasures naturally derived from heaven and earth. But unfortunately, this heaven and earth exotic treasure is the same as the Chenkin coin furnace. It is impossible to open up the mansion of the gods. It can only be used outside. According to the introduction, the watchtower can be activated after absorbing 3,000 spirit coins or 1 heaven and earth spirit stones. The activated watchtower has the power of watch. As long as it is installed, the initial first-level state can automatically sense the hostility within 1,000 feet. Shoot the enemy directly. The first-level state is comparable to the full blow of a cultivator at the 3rd level of enlightenment. As more enemies are killed, the lethality will be stronger, and the sensing range will be wider. If you keep killing enemies, it is entirely possible to cover the entire Yan kingdom within the attack range in the future. A smile appeared on his lips. There is such an exotic treasure placed in the center of the city. Who else can sneak up on assassinations or something like that? 1,000 feet. That is more than 3,000 meters, nearly 7 miles away. Naturally, it cannot cover the entire county. But it can also cover a quarter of a county. This is the exotic treasure of heaven and earth. Exotic treasure, a world so powerful that it makes no sense at all. If he had had this watchtower back then. So, Bai Huan, a disciple of Lingdao sect, only needs to appear within 1,000 feet of the watchtower. Will be shot straight away. Although the initial power of the Tower of Watch is only equivalent to the third-tier cultivator of Kiming. But the watchtower takes every breath. Can shoot 10 watch arrows. It is equal to the full blow of 10 enlightened 3-layer cultivators. With Bai Huan's strength, can't stop it at all. Only to be shot in an instant. Quite scary, certainly. There are also disadvantages. This watchtower can only be fixed in one place. If you want to move in the future, you need to consume spirit coins, and it will take a while. But compared to its terrifying lethality and effect, this small flaw is nothing at all. However, the court's decree should come down soon. It's not in a hurry to settle. Li Yu looked in the direction of Kyoto and whispered to herself. He subdued Empress Dowager Bai Qingling. But it's not like nothing was done. Naturally, there are some plans. Shook his head. Didn't think much about it. He opened the 3 heavenly rank high-grade Divine Palace martial arts books that he bought from the trade, and looked through them. Let Taizan born prodigy deduce the method of practice of heavenly origin 5th stage. That's the more important thing right now. Ding. Your family's martial arts. Taizan Tianshengxian Zhang observes martial arts, reveals the light of wisdom, and deduces the method of heavenly origin 5th stage practice. Ding. Your family's martial arts. Taizan Tiansheng Zhang has a lot of martial arts. Looking up at the stars and looking down on the world, I feel deeply. The Great Universe Vientiane Star Map is advanced to the Shenyan Vientiane Star Map. Ding. If your family's martial arts, Taizan Tianshengxian Zhang, is to deduce the method of heavenly origin 6th stage practice, you need to observe a large number of high-quality martial arts 25/30ths. Shenyan Vientiane Star Map. Li Yu was taken aback. He sensed it. In my mind, the big universe Vientiane Star Map, that was originally like a layer of starry sky, suddenly changed. Every star suddenly burst into pale golden flames, burning blazingly. As if at this very moment, all the stars have turned into fierce suns. If it turns out, the large universe Vientiane Star Map may not have strong attack power. But now, he felt deeply. The Shenyan Vientiane Star picture, in my mind, has extremely terrifying attack power. If someone attacks him with soul secrets, then you will definitely receive the most severe counterattack from this terrifying Shenyan Vientiane Star picture. The third evolution. Li Yu was speechless. For the first time, the small universe star diagram evolved into the universe star diagram. The second, universe star map, evolved into the great universe Vientiane Star Map. And now it has evolved into the Shenyan Vientiane Star Map. But alas, so far, he hasn't even met a cultivator who knows how to attack souls. This frighteningly powerful soul defense star map has always been useless. Actually, he still looks forward to encountering an enemy who knows how to attack souls. Wait for the opponent to display the most terrifying soul attack with full confidence. Turn out, not only useless, it was also counterattacked by today's Shenyan Vientiane Star Map. I don't know what kind of expression it will be. Yan Guo went north. That is, he has always been hostile to Hu State with Yan State. The strength of Hu State is similar to that of Yan State. On the border of the two countries, each invested more than 100,000 soldiers and horses. In this martial Dao world, more soldiers and horses are never better. But the more elite the better. After all, when the two armies are fighting, in fact, only the first 4 rows of soldiers can meet the enemy hand to hand. If these 3 or 4 rows of soldiers collapsed, it will immediately affect the soldiers behind. In this martial Dao world, this is evident from this. So the elite is the standard to measure the strength of an army. At this time, on the sky, a middle-aged man stepped on the flying sword and stood in the void. He looked high above, overlooking the bottom. It's like a god looking at the ants on the ground. A pair of long and narrow eyes, dark hair hanging down on the forehead. Zhou Yuan, you have been expelled from the sect, are you still haunted? You actually let junior sister Bai Huan miss you so much that she would go thousands of miles to look for you in Yan country. Damn it. If I had known back then, I would have killed you with a single sword. His heart was full of anger, and he looked at the army of Yan state below. Dash dash dash. They all carried a cold killing intent. He knew where Zhou Yuan was going. After all, at the beginning, it was he who framed Zhou Yuan and caused Zhou Yuan to be expelled from the sect. So I have been paying attention to Zhou Yuan's movements. 393. If it weren't for the scruples about Zhou Yuan's master in sect, he had already started to kill Zhou Yuan's entire family. How could he stay until now? But now he regrets it. Even if Master Zhou Yuan is offended a little bit, he should kill Zhou Yuan. This time, junior sister Bai Huan was promoted to Qiming and became a true disciple. He would have been happy too. They also presented a heavenly rank low rank beast familiar ring. But unexpectedly, after the other party left the customs, they actually started to investigate Zhou Yuan's whereabouts. This made his face distort the first time he got the news. After chasing Bai Huan for so long, none of them want to be his companion. It turns out that he still remembers that damn guy Zhou Yuan. So, he also came to the country of Yan. The straw people of Yan Kingdom deserve to die. He looked coldly at the checkpoint of Yan Kingdom below. Finger lightly. Immediately, a shot was as black as ink, and endless lengths of ghost chi poured out from his body. Quack quack. 161,616. A series of terrifying and strange laughter resounded from the long black banner. Thousands of ghosts jumped straight down. A layer of black clouds gushed out from the long streamer, filling the area for several miles. It was eerie and terrifying. Just for a moment, in the Yan Kingdom checkpoint below, there were a lot of screams one after another. A famous soldier and general ran away in fear. But the ghost just pounced. The man fell down, breathless. But half an hour. This checkpoint with 5,000 soldiers and horses stationed, enough to withstand tens of thousands of troops. It became a dead place, and there was not a single soldier of Yan who was still alive. Even if the general stationed here is a rank 1 divine palace great master, there is no escape, and the soul perishes. Snort. A group of straw people, weak and weak. I don't know this little country of Yan. Is there anyone who can let me use the soul attack secret technique? Ren Baichuan snorted coldly. Without looking at the large number of corpses below, step on the flying sword and go directly to Nanan County. 41%. Chapter 123. The arrow technique bewitches the magic. 10 days of earth shame. Fifth more. 3 days later. Li Daosu found his father basking in the sun in the yard. Looking at her father with a relaxed face, the maid beside her, Ah Ching, pressed her shoulders. The corner of his mouth twitched slightly. He was a little puzzled. I have almost never seen how my father practiced. Why is it so powerful, yet so terrifying? No matter how hard I try, I can't see my father's bottom. What's up? Li Yu said, even without opening your eyes. He could also sense the arrival of his eldest son. This is the ability of mental energy to be powerful to a certain extent. With his current amount of mental energy, it can be compared with Qiming Cultivator. It can even be done, distorting the surroundings, intervening in a bit of reality, so that people can't see him. This is an extremely terrifying ability. He wants people with low realm to see it, so that the other party can see it. He did not want. The other party can't see him. Even if I look for 100 years, I still can't see him. The decree from the capital has come down, and I will be named Marquis of Qinzhou, responsible for cleaning up all the incense sects in Qinzhou, and have the power to temporarily manage all military affairs in the entire Jiazhou. Li Daosu said in a deep voice. Ha ha, it seems that our Empress Dowager is really not to be underestimated. You are actually appointed as a marquis, and you are temporarily in charge of the state. Li Yu laughed and sat up straight. He once again had a high opinion of Bai Qingling's ability. At first, he just asked Empress Dowager Bai Qingling to give him the name that the Li family could justifiably take over Tanzhou. Did not expect. The other party actually gave the eldest son Li Daosu the title of Marquis directly. He is also temporarily in charge of Qinzhou. Such a condition, the ministers of the imperial court would actually agree to it. However, considering that the Dianxiang sect has already rushed out of the 3 states in the south of the Yangtze River, it is understandable that it is sweeping towards the 2 states of Zhongbei. Yan state has 8 states in total. There are 3 states in the south of the Yangtze River, 2 states in the north of the Yangtze River, 1 state in the northwest, and 1 state in the northeast. and the capital of Yan Kingdom. It is in Huizhou, one of the two states in Zhongbei. That is, Dianxiangzhou has endangered Kyoto, and not so long ago. The leader of the Dianxiang sect, Situ Busan, beheaded Yan Feng, the general of Yan State. Yan Fengning was one of the 3 top generals in Yan State. Naturally, he is not an incompetent person. On the contrary, he manages the army well, and his own strength has reached the level of the 3rd-ranked Divine Palace Great Master. But still died in the hands of Situ Busan. The 50,000 army under his command was defeated, chased and killed for dozens of miles, and suffered countless casualties. Tell the truth 1. Situ Busan was able to kill General Yan Feng. Li Yu was still a little surprised. After all, Situ Busan is only a cultivator on the 1st level of enlightenment. The strength should be similar to that of the 3-ranked Divine Palace Great Master. As in the White Feather Temple, Empress Dowager Bai Qingling, didn't she turn 3 times into the Divine Palace Great Master realm? Have you killed the enlightened cultivator, by 9th stage, the master of Bai Yuguan? Father, when will you leave for the state capital? Li Daosu opened his mouth and said, since the name already exists. So next, their Li family will naturally leave Zhujiao County. Go to the state capital and take charge of the military administration. The 5 counties of Qinzhou. Zhujiao County is in the hands of their Li family. The little girl of Mengjiang County has already gone, and she will be taken down soon. The remaining 3 counties, with the strength of their Li family, it is also very easy to win. Even if it's not a father. Their Li family is also very scary. 5 days later, quote, get ready. In addition, the elite training camp will also be brought to the state capital. Li Yu said lightly. Li Daosu nodded. 5 days. It was enough for him to deal with the affairs of Zhujiao County. As for Li Jiazhen, he has very little control, and Li Daoyan is in charge. However, Li Zimo, as the grandson of Li's parents, participated in both military and political affairs. The remaining Li Jiazhen, Li Zimo can be responsible for taking him to the state capital. Looking at the back of the eldest son going away, there was a hint of thought in Li Yu's eyes. Although the eldest son has tried his best to reduce government affairs and practice more. However, it is still unavoidable to be affected. Last promotion to Heavenly Origin 3rd stage. Li Daosu was 1 step slower than Li Ziran. But there is no way. These things have to be handled by someone. If it's not dealt with, it's better not to occupy these territories. He shook his head. Don't think about it anymore. A little impact, not too big. Hint. Li Zixing Qisha Yuanyang arrow technique is promoted return to origin. Hint. Li Daoyan Taizan was promoted to the 4th stage, and cultivation base was promoted to heavenly origin 4th stage. 5 days passed by in a flash. Li Yu looked at the 2 new messages and smiled. Qisha Yuanyang arrow technique. The return to origin realm is finally here. This archery technique is top-notch even in the upper grade martial arts of the earth level. And the way of archery. It doesn't just depend on whether the martial arts are good or not. Most of the time, it also depends on the power of the bow and arrow in your hand. Pity. The strength is improving too fast. The few ground-level high-grade war bows I bought before are no longer useful. A stronger war bow is needed. Only by displaying the power of this archery technique. He whispered to himself. Ding. Your family's martial art, Qisha Yuanyang arrow technique, has been suppressed for a long time, and you have never had a suitable bow and arrow. You are resentful. Qi deviation, upgraded to 10 Sun Earth Sha Demon arrow. Comprehend the profound truth, draw all officials. Quote question mark quote. Li Yu was stunned. What the hell? A disagreement, another cultivation technique Qi deviation. Isn't it basically useless, and there is no suitable bow and arrow? As for Qi deviation, he cursed in his heart. Sensing a large amount of extra information in the mind. There is already the mysterious meaning of drawing the spine into a bow, which is weird and terrifying just by looking at the name. But it's okay. This, drawing the spine as a bow, was not what he understood as drawing his own spine as a bow. Instead, mix Qi and blood with true Qi, pour into the dragon spine on the back, completely fill it up, and shape it like a dragon spine. Then reach out and pull it out. In fact, what is drawn out is the dragon spine, formed by the condensed true Qi and Qi and blood. No damage to itself. But this is indeed Devil Dao's method. After all, in the eyes of outsiders, maybe it's the members of their Li family who would use the spine of On's back as a weapon if they disagreed with each other. Just thinking about it is enough to infiltrate people. Isn't this Devil Dao? Is it Devil Dao? And this upgraded 10 Sun Earth Demon Arrow. It actually wanted to induce the devilish chi to form a magic sun on the shot magic arrow. This arrow, shoot anyone and it will cause a terrifying explosion and erosion. The power is terrifying, if practiced to the extreme. An arrow shot out. The 10 rounds of magic yang are connected into one piece, which is so terrifying that it is unimaginable. And this 10 Sun Earth Demon Arrow. It is also the arrow technique of the heavenly ranked king. It is the same grade as the 9th stage Thunder Knife. This chi deviation is amazing. Originally, it was only a high-grade earth level. Once enchanted, you immediately become a heavenly ranked king. Li Yu opened her eyes and sighed with a smile on her lips. He is totally found out. Blacken and demonization are the way to go. Those honest cultivation techniques can't compare to these extreme personalities. Blacken or the demonized cultivation technique are powerful at every turn. Nowadays, Bao Shanyan Spirit rank top grade. Blood Capital Secret Demon 9th Stage Thunder Saber Heavenly rank King grade. 10 Sun Earth Demon Arrow Heavenly rank Royal grade. Function 100 Steps Heavenly rank top grade. That's why the Dolly Demon Fist is too hip stretching, only the top grade of the ground. But after all, the original body is only a high rank human rank, so you can't ask too much. He is in a good mood. At this point, the martial arts of their Li family's first line is almost formed. Fist technique has Baoshan seal. Saber technique has the 9th stage Thunder Knife of the Blood City Secret Demon. The arrow method has 10 suns and earth evil arrows. There are 100 steps in the body. 4 combat martial arts, each of which is beyond the power of the whole country of Yan. Even Blood Capital Mystic Demon 9th Stage Thunder Knife, 10 Sun Earth Demon Arrow and other heavenly rank King grade combat martial arts. In the Lingdao sect, there should be none. Wangpin martial arts is rare in the world. Not to mention the heavenly rank level Wangpin martial arts. After washing and having breakfast, everyone in the Li family is already ready. Hundreds of horse-drawn carriages, mighty and mighty, headed for the state capital. Everyone in Zhujiao County watched in awe. Word has spread. Li Daosu, the eldest son of Li. He was conferred the title of Marquis of Qinzhou. Just the name alone makes people think about it. Not to mention, according to the rumors, the imperial court let the Marquis of Qinzhou be in charge of all the military affairs of Qinzhou. From now on, Qinzhou is the Li family's world. Gao Yuan stood at the gate of the city, watched the Li family's convoy go away, and sighed. He originally served as chief forester in Beiyin County. Later, the Li family came to the county, and he followed. But this time, Li Haojiao. The Li family was going to the state capital, but he didn't dare to follow. After all, he is very clear about his own cultivation base. Doing things in the county is already the limit. If you go to the state capital, you will be arrested. I am afraid that one day I will die inexplicably. After all, the criminals who need to be apprehended by the Labor State Government Office are all extremely vicious and belong to tens of thousands of people. He is now only body refining 8th stage cultivation base. How dare you fight those vicious people? Zhou Yuan is dead. Killed by Li Yu from the Li family in Zhujiao County. Where did that junior sister Bai Huan go? Ren Baichuan threw out the practitioner whose soul had dissipated in front of him, with a somewhat shocked expression on his face. He is from the memory of this practitioner. There was no trace of his junior sister Bai Huan at all. But also normal. After all, junior sister is the Qiming cultivator. Naturally, these straw people cannot be seen. But, in this person's memory, Li Jiayi from Zhujiao County. Are you still alive and well? Not dead. It shouldn't be. Junior sister got the news that Zhou Yuan was killed. Shouldn't she immediately go and wipe out that Li family? Frowned. He stepped on the flying sword and directly turned into a ray of luck. Go towards Zhujiao County City. 42%. Chapter 124. How dare she imprison her junior sister? First update. Ren Baichuan Yujian flew very fast. Only half an hour. Then from Nan'an County City to Zhujiao County City. He stood in the air, looked down at the city below, and sniffed. Suddenly his complexion changed. Junior sister is here. Leave the breath of my junior sister. In Lingdao sect, he likes to practice some heretical techniques the most. For example, it specializes in the soul, and the extremely vicious method of the poisonous punishment collarbone piercing the soul Shira method. There is also the 6-color method of Shaozang reflection, that enhances the sense of smell. So, he can be in time for so long. Still smell the long-lasting breath of Kimming cultivator. Call. His body flickered. It landed in a big family in the city. He casually grabbed a practitioner next to him and pressed it on the opponent's head. Execute the Yuan Yin absorbing God soul search technique. After a while, he threw away the corpse in his hand, frowning. Strangeness. In the memory of this practitioner, there was also no trace of his junior sister. If junior sister came here, how could he let the Li family go? With the temperament of the junior sister, she must kill a lot. An hour ago, the Li family left the city. No matter what, the Li family should know something. Catch that Li Yu, just search for the soul, he whispered softly. Seeing the dead body on the ground, it turned into a ray of light and soared into the sky again. The backyard of the sheriff's mansion. Li Zixing, who stayed behind, looked at the light and frowned. Looking at her attire, she seems to be a disciple of Lingdao sect. He muttered softly. I didn't pay much attention to it. Looking at the other party's direction, it should be to find Grandpa. To find Grandpa. How can the other party have a good end? The carriage was driving on the official road. Between Zhujiao County City and the state capital, there is a well-repaired official road. The mountains on both sides of the road are undulating and the trees are green. Naturally, the speed of hundreds of carriages would not be fast. The 5,000 Li family army, led by Li Zimo, had already charged towards Yuling County. Now that it's justified, Li Yu naturally wants to take back all the 5 counties of Qinzhou. Not for other. The population of the 5 counties alone is a very important resource. Li Jiazhen wants to expand. Naturally, it is necessary to select from a large number of poor practitioners and strong people. Leave Zixing to watch Zhujiao County. After 1 month, the task will be completed. If you want to come to Zixing's strength, there will be no problem. Sitting in the carriage, Li Yu ate the grapes peeled by the maid Ah Qing, thinking in her heart. Although Li Zixing has not been promoted to Heavenly Origin 4th stage. But it should be just a few days. Once at the Heavenly Origin 4th stage. Then even if they meet Kimming Cultivator, they can escape. Although the Kimming Cultivator can fly. But the land of Zhongnan. There are many mountains and mountains. There are also many big rivers. If you want to escape, you can escape. Unless it is suddenly attacked and trapped by formation, it will be over. But the Li family, which mental energy is not extremely panicked. It is impossible to be raided at all. The state capital. He whispered in his heart, but thought about it for a while, and didn't think about it. The state capital doesn't even have a divine palace great master. For his Li family, even if you don't want to, you can't jump. Suddenly, a slightly crazy woman's cry suddenly came from a carriage behind. Faintly, there was also a bit of chaos at mental energy. The coachman driving the carriage screamed, his mouth and nose were bleeding, and he jumped out of the carriage with a face full of fear. And the horses that drive. He also fell to the ground softly, foaming at the mouth. The whole convoy stopped. Why is Bai Huan so crazy? Li Yu was taken aback. He got out of the carriage and came to the rear. In that carriage, of course, was Bai Huan, a disciple of Lingdao sect who was imprisoned. Such captives, of course, cannot stay in Jufeng City. CBFH, although he has broken the opponent's magic power. Also beheaded the opponent's soul. But in the end it was the former Kimming cultivator. Mental energy is still far stronger than the average person. Wave lightly. The black cloth of the carriage was lifted. Light shines in. Bai Huan, a beautiful woman with disheveled hair and simple clothes, closed her eyes subconsciously. But in a blink of an eye, it opened again, looking at Li Yu, with a distorted and crazy face, and a sickly laugh. Ha ha ha, I've found sect. You are dead. You are all dead. Your family and relatives are all dead. No one can live, you straw people, if you dare to imprison me, you will die. Li Yu frowned. Sect found it. Someone from the Lingdao sect came here so quickly. He just thought so. The next moment sensed something, squinted his eyes, and looked towards the direction of Jufeng County City. There, a ray of light was undisguised, like wind, thunder and lightning, coming across the sky. Junior sister. An earth-shattering roar came from the light. The roar was full of disbelief and overwhelming anger. The light converges. Ren Baichuan stepped on the flying sword, suspended 100 meters in the air, his face ashen. He stared desperately at being imprisoned in the carriage, and he no longer had the beautiful junior sister who was as beautiful as a fairy. There was heartache in his eyes. There is even more endless killing intent. Who dares to imprison his junior sister? But see his figure. Bai Huan, who was laughing morbidly, suddenly froze, and shouted in a daze. Senior brother Ren, just you. Junior sister, don't worry. None of these ants like straw people. Can't escape. Actually, how dare to imprison junior sister. I will take out all their souls and let my junior sister torture 100 year. Ren Baichuan gritted his teeth and said. A cold black air spewed from his pupils, and he turned to stare at Li Yu. Flip the right hand. A pitch black long banner emerged. Shake gently. Suddenly the gloomy ghost she roared, forming a black cloud in the sky. Thousands of horrific ghosts whistling, making strange laughs, flying all over the sky. The terrible scene, the hideous apparition. Where have the ordinary coachmen below seen such a scene? All of them were pale and frightened, hiding under the carriage and shivering. Brother, run away. Go back to sect and ask my master to call the masters and uncles to come. But unexpected, Bai Huan, who was imprisoned in the carriage, screamed with anxiety on his face. Although she was wounded soul. But such a matter of life and death, naturally will not be forgotten. Although senior brother Ren was promoted to Kiming earlier than her. But it is still a cultivator on the first floor of Kiming. How could it be Li Yu's opponent? This is the terrifying Divine Palace Great Master above rank 7. Put it in their sect, it is definitely a top true biography, or a strong person of her master's generation. Senior brother Ren in front of me. Definitely not an opponent. Just one person. Brother Ren. Could it be Ren Bai who framed Jing'an who Zhou Yuan as recorded in the original message? Li Yu's eyes moved. He was a little worried just now. After all, Lingdao sect is very strong, the #1 force in the 6 kingdoms. He himself is not afraid, but his children and grandchildren are worse. Did not expect. It was only one person who came. And look at the strength. Not much better than Bai Huan back then. He just thought about it for a while, and he understood a little bit. Dare to. This is a licking dog. When he learned that the goddess had just left customs, he traveled thousands of miles to find his old lover. My heart was twisted, I couldn't bear it anymore, and I followed the goddess to find it. As for what to do, maybe the other party doesn't know. Killing a rival in love in front of the goddess would definitely not dare. Back then, he only dared to frame Zhou Yuan secretly, but did not dare to kill Zhou Yuan. Naturally, he was afraid that the goddess would learn the truth and hate him for the rest of her life. He shook his head in his heart. This licking dog licks to the end, nothing left. Junior sister, don't worry. I have already mastered the clavicle piercing Shira method. This is the art of soul attack, the most effective against practitioner. It doesn't matter how many times he turns to Divine Palace, if he meets me. Go to hell. Ren Baichuan was shocked when he heard this, but he was not afraid at all. The younger sister is just below. How could he just turn around and leave? Then it is estimated that I will never win the heart of my junior sister for the rest of my life. And as long as he rescues his junior sister, he will kill these damn straw people. Junior sisters will definitely fall in love with themselves. Boom. Without hesitation, he grabbed the long black banner in front of him, and his black hair fluttered like an unrivaled demon, fingering Li Yu. Coldly shouted, rip his soul apart. Kill all these straw people too. Suddenly, thousands of ghosts flying all over the sky smiled and swooped down. The eerie ghost chi swept across. Dark clouds overwhelmed the city. It's like the end of the world is coming. Although it is still broad daylight. But this area is groggy and terrifying. Ah! Do not come. A large number of ordinary coachmen and practitioners yelled in fear, waving their hands wildly. As if to wave away those terrifying and hideous ghosts. A mere brat. Do you dare to be presumptuous? Li Yu hasn't made a move yet. Li Daosu was already angry. He has thick black hair and eyes like electricity. The three-legged golden crow visualization picture, in my mind lit up with divine light. That ray of golden divine flame was even more radiant. A terrible flame that exists entirely on the plane of the soul. In an instant, hundreds of ghosts shrouded him in front of him. Ah! Without warning, the hundreds of ghosts screamed, as if they saw something extremely terrifying, their faces were distorted, full of fear. But wait for their reaction. They seemed to be burned by something, and they disappeared in an instant. No matter what martial Dao really means. Still a visualization. It's all about the soul level. This kind of thing. It has limited damage to creatures with physical protection. Even if it doesn't do too much damage to the mental energy of the living beings. But for pure ghost, the lethality is astonishing. Destroy. Li Yu's face was calm, and there was a faint light between her brows. A ray of divine light shot out, spread out, and enveloped the entire convoy. The divine light was hazy. It seems to exist. It seems that it does not exist. But the 900 ghosts who swooped down and were not beheaded by Li Deosu. But at the moment of encountering this divine light, there were no screams. Then it all exploded and disappeared in smoke. This, naturally, it is a trace of the power of the real dragon eye. Above. Ren Baichuan's pupils shrank tightly. So strong. No wonder he was able to imprison his junior sister. No more hesitation. He directly used his strongest and ultimate means. Soul attack secret method. Poison clavicle piercing soul Shira method. He has absolute confidence. My own secret method. Enough to hit the opponent directly. Even if the other party's martial Dao is really amazing, he can't stop it. 42%. Chapter 125. The Power of God Flames. Kill Kimming in seconds. Second more. Soul attack. Always the most mysterious, but also the scariest. Even among cultivators, there are very few people who practice this kind of secret technique. Practicing this kind of secret method, if one is not good, it will damage own soul. And soul wounds. It is also the scariest for cultivators. The heavenly and mortal treasures that can repair the soul are too few, and too precious. But Ren Baichuan never found his junior sister whom he likes. Actually, he doesn't like himself at all, but likes everywhere. It's not as good as own Zhou Yuan. There was a ruthlessness in his heart. He did not hesitate to turn to the wrong way, and successfully practice the Shira method of collarbone piercing with amazing will. He once used this soul attack secret method. Rebuilt a 7-turn divine palace great master. It is extremely difficult to cultivate the secret method of the soul, but as long as the cultivation is successful. That power is also extremely terrifying. Unless the opponent can have the soul defense secret method, otherwise it will be absolutely unstoppable. But how can a practitioner have a soul defense secret? It is among the cultivators. People who can have the soul defense secret method are extremely rare. The soul defense secret method is the same as the attack secret method. It is extremely difficult to practice, and it is extremely easy to damage the soul. Normal cultivator. No one dares to try it lightly. Dare to imprison junior sister, die for me. Ren Baichuan's black hair fluttered, his eyes were full of killing intent. The next moment, a ferocious Shira, like a phantom, rushed out of him. Shira is several feet tall, extremely ugly, with blood-red eyes. Just a flash. Then, across a distance of hundreds of meters, he thrust his claws into Li Yu's mind, and tore it off to both sides. If anyone can see, so from a distance, this scene is extremely terrifying. Li Yu has a small body and stands on the ground. An unreal figure of Shira stood in front of him as tall as a 2-story building. Huge claws thrust into his mind. The strange and terrifying wind blows, and the surrounding grass leaves turn yellow and rot instantly. Everything between heaven and earth. It seems to have turned into black and white. All beings and all things. It also seems to have solidified everything. Time slows down. Soul attack. Sure enough, it has incredible power. With her hands behind her back, Li Yu's expression was calm and she admired in her heart. He believes, if it were another divine palace great master here, I'm afraid that my soul will be torn apart by this illusory Shira in a blink of an eye. But unfortunately, this terrible soul-attacking arcane met him. It's a good time to try the power of the Shenyan Vientian star map. He whispered softly. His eyes looked at the huge Shira in front of him. No action either, just watched calmly. Anyway, the Shenyan Vientian star map is a method of soul defense, and no other is needed. Just to be touched, it will automatically counterattack, and the gods will burst out and burn everything. At this time, he has already sensed in his mind that Shira's claws. It has already encountered the outermost round of raging sun formed by the Shenyan Vientian star map. That big day seemed to be irritated, immediately rushed to the sky, and turned into an illusory 3-legged golden crow. Just a little bump. Then Shira's claws were directly burned into nothingness. Cracking. A terrifying chime sounded. The 3-legged golden crow rushed out of Li Yu's mind, and the golden pupils were full of anger. A pair of radiant wings. Hitting in front of Li Yu again, Shira's eyes showed extreme fear. Boom. Shenyan broke out. This illusory figure of Shira, under the flame of God. There is no resistance. In an instant, it was burned into nothingness, as if it had never appeared before. The 3-legged golden crow looked at Ren Baichuan in the sky above. His eyes were full of anger. His whole body was burning with blazing flames, with a terrifying power that could destroy the heavens and destroy the earth. A flash rushed into Ren Baichuan's mind. All of these. It all happens at the soul level. The attack and confrontation at the soul level is just like thinking. The speed is unimaginably fast. Even if Li Daosu was standing beside him. But he only faintly saw a ferocious Shira appearing in front of his father. But in a blink of an eye Shira disappeared. There was a flash of golden light. Then, all is gone. On the sky. Ren Baichuan's eyeballs popped out, and there was a look of horror and endless fear in his eyes. He opened his mouth to say something. But there was no sound in a blink of an eye, and the body fell from the sky. Under the counterattack of the Shenyan Vientian star map. He has no resistance at all. His soul was directly burned out, and his soul flew away. Even Li Yu, seeing the other party die so directly. They were all stunned. The star map of Shenyan Vientian is also too scary. How could he kill the opponent with one counterattack? But think about it. This Shenyan Vientian star map has evolved 3 times. And the last evolution obviously absorbed a lot of things from the Taizan Tianshengsheng chapter. It is reasonable to be so terrifying. But the problem is he didn't want the opponent to directly die. What he wanted was to be imprisoned like Bai Huan. But this is out of his control. Even when the opponent just appeared, he acted neatly. It can't stop the other party from launching a soul attack. An attack at the soul level is really a matter of thought. And as long as the soul attack is launched, then he will definitely die under the counterattack of the Shenyan Vientian star map. The other party appeared here today. Then death is doomed. Wanting to understand this, Li Yu shook her head, feeling a little speechless in her heart. I came all this way from thousands of miles just to be doomed to be killed here. So, licking a dog is bad. At the end of the lick, there will really be nothing left. Inside the carriage, Bai Huan held his head in pain. She actually is not suffering for Ren Baichuan's death. But because of Ren Baichuan's death, no one can report to sect. Painful to bring someone to rescue her. There was even hatred in her heart. Very much the dead Ren Baichuan. Tell you to go, you don't go. Even if he died, the hope that he had just raised was shattered again. Take the corpse and continue on your way. Li Yu ordered with a blank face. The unexpected factor of Ren Baichuan made him feel a little unattractive. Needless to say, he knows it all. This will definitely let people from the Lingdao sect investigate. After all, Qiming Cultivator is a true disciple in Lingdao sect. The true disciple died outside. How could Lingdaozong not investigate? And Ren Baichuan died here. Thousands of people in the entire convoy saw it. Even when the other party came from Jujiao County, he didn't hide it. Along the way, I don't know how many people saw the light passing across the sky. It is absolutely impossible to cover up. However, it is impossible for the Lingdao sect to dispatch such a powerful force to investigate the death of a true disciple. He returned to the carriage, whispering in his heart. Asking for flowers. Based on the distance between Lingdaozong and Yan Kingdom, there must be a period of time before the masters of Lingdaozong will appear. Even according to the novel, immortal sects like to procrastinate and procrastinate. Then the time should not be short. Think here. The worry in his heart was let go. Father, this is the other party's storage bag and the long flag. Not long. Li Daosu sent Ren Baichuan's storage bag and the long banner that drives Ghost. Send the maid Ah Ching to the carriage behind. Sitting alone in the carriage, he began to check the storage bag in front of him. To be honest, he was still looking forward to it. After all, this is also a true disciple of Lingdao sect, with the same status as Bai Huan. And the things in Bai Huan's storage bag are worth more than 20,000 spirit coins. His mental energy pours into the storage bag. A joyful smile appeared on the corner of his mouth when he saw the low-level meat field of the Divine Palace in the center. Divine Palace low-level meat fields worth tens of thousands of Ling coins. It seems this thing is the standard equipment for true disciples of Lingdao sect. Tut. This one. He had to lament the richness of Lingdaozong. 0. The value of such a meat field is astonishing. But other people have one true disciple. There is also a heavenly rank low-grade beast fencing ring. Is this also a standard equipment for true disciples of Lingdao sect? However, there is one less slave ring than Bai Huan. Have you used it or not? More than 1,500 spirit coins. 19 heavenly rank talismans, 2 of which are heavenly rank middle grade. The rest of the elixir, and elixir are no less than Bai Huan. What the hell are those black bottles? There is no heaven and earth spirit stones. Li Yu, check it out. Except for those unknown black bottles. He figured out the rest. The value is not as high as Bai Huan's storage bag. Plus that heavenly rank medium grade black long streamer. But it is also worth about 18,000 spirit coins. The main reason is that the low-level meat fields in the Divine Palace are worth a lot. This is an absolute gem. In the case of healthy growth, it can produce 100 caddies of Divine Palace low-grade exotic animal meat every day. And 100 caddies of Divine Palace low-grade exotic animal meat. Almost equivalent to more than 500,000 caddies of ordinary exotic animal meat. Just a low-level meat field of the Divine Palace. It is comparable to more than 5,000 ordinary meat farms. Nowadays, he has 2 low-level meat farms of the Divine Palace in his hand. Heavenly Rank has 2 mid-tier magical items, 1 long streamer, and 1 defensive orb. Heavenly Rank lower grade magical item is a beast ring. Heavenly Rank has 3 mid-level talismans, 1 for defense and 2 for attack. 29 Heavenly Rank low-grade talismans. Supply Kimming Cultivator with 25 Keeling Pills for cultivation. The remaining Heavenly Rank middle-grade elixir and 8 types of elixir. 26 types of Heavenly Rank low-grade elixir and elixir ores. There are 75 kinds of earth-level elixir and spiritual mines. These 2 times, Bai Huan also used 3 defensive talismans back then. But this time, Ren Baichuan didn't even have time to use the talisman. These things, it's all good stuff. There was a smile on the corner of Li Yu's mouth. He plans to distribute the talisman directly to his children. After all, these talismans are still very powerful. 10 days passed in a blink of an eye. The state capital of Qinzhou is already in sight. But the weird thing is that the city gate of the state capital was closed tightly, and the giant crossbows above the city guarded the city with a cold light. Pointing at the convoy coming from afar. 42%. Chapter 126 Family War Beast, 1 punch breaks the Great Master. Third change. Qinzhou State Capital. This is the center of Qinzhou, one of the 8 states of Yan State. In the entire Yan country, it has an extremely important position. The city wall is 25 feet high, equivalent to the height of a 25-story building. Majestic and majestic. Standing on the ground, looking to the left and right, you can't see the side at a glance. It's like an ancient fierce beast, crawling quietly, majestic. The whole city wall is black. It is built from a hard stone called black granite. Above, a soldier in heavy armor and holding a crossbow stood standing. The breath is chilling and cold. The location of the city gate. A dozen or so figures in ornate robes stood. The leader is a middle-aged man, with 2 stacks of slightly grizzled hair and flying hair. The momentum is wild and rough, like a bear. Holding a strange blue sword in his hand, it shone coldly. On the top of the city, a flag flies. There is an image of a leaping dragon and a big, flat, character on it. Flat. Is this the flag of King Pingnan? Li Yu lifted the curtain of the car, looked at the people, horses and flags on the top of the city, and whispered softly. Beside, Li Daosu was riding a war horse with a serious face. During these 10 days, Li Daosu was also in another carriage, concentrating on cultivation. Finally yesterday, cultivation base breakthrough, promoted to heavenly origin 4th stage. And the rest of the, July 13th, members of the family. Except Li Zihan, the most playful little girl. The rest of them have all been promoted to heavenly origin 4th stage within these 10 days. Go and ask, what is this King Pingnan planning to do? Li Yu said lightly. The battle 10 days ago. Although many people saw it. But honestly, ordinary practitioners can't tell the difference between Kimming Cultivator and Foundation Establishment Cultivator. All he knew was that Ren Baichuan was very strong. Can be specific how strong. Ordinary practitioners have no concept. The news got out. Certainly, he would not be able to show the strength of Li Yu. After all, any strength or weakness, all have to be compared. Li Daosu nodded, drove his horse forward, looked at the city and shouted. I am Li Daosu, Marquis of Tanzhou. Hurry up and open the gates of the city and welcome me into the city. Ha 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 ha. Hearing his voice, a loud laugh suddenly came from the city wall. You are just a false marquis conferred by the Demon Queen. How dare you call yourself Marquis of Tanzhou, Yan Kingdom? I am Ping Nanho, Mu Shi. The Demon Queen is in charge of cholera, and those treacherous ministers are colluding with each other. But I, Lu Shi, am a child of the royal family. How can I allow the demon queen to do evil and mess up my country of Yan? Your Li family is no more than the demon queen's pawns. I advise you to retreat immediately, otherwise you will be killed without mercy. The voice spoke to the back, already full of coldness. Even with the majestic true essence, it is mighty and mighty, shaking the four directions. Is this directly reversed? Or, this is planning to put on a show like Qing Emperor's side? Li Yu was a little stunned. This King Pingnan has always kept a low profile in Qinzhou. It does not compete with Bai Yuguan. He doesn't compete with the state capital, and often retreats even when facing the Marquis of Jing'an. Over time, the status in the three states in the south of the Yangtze River is not high. But now it seems, this one has been planned for a long time. He glanced behind Pingnan King Lu Shi. There are two Divine Palace Great Masters. Plus King Pingnan himself. That is the three Divine Palace Great Masters. It's no wonder that he has the confidence to directly occupy the state capital and scold his Li family. After all, his Li family's revealed strength. Only the beheading of Jing'an Hu Zhouyuan at the beginning, and the battle with Li Daolong's Wusheng Patriarch. Such strength. Obviously, he couldn't deter King Pingnan, who had three Divine Palace Great Masters in front of him. There was a hint of amusement at the corner of his mouth. This thing is really interesting. Queen, do not know either. In the 8 prefectures of the Yan Kingdom, how many teams have stepped onto the stage? It is in the same camp as King Pingnan. He does know. This kind of court clan should take action on the side of the Qing Emperor and the like. But neither will be alone. For example, before crossing the rebellion of the 7 kings during the period of Emperor Jing of the Han dynasty in history. Isn't it just to ask Chao Kuo to be punished, in the name of the Qing Emperor? In the Western Jin dynasty, there was also the rebellion of the 8 kings, and it was the same. Even the 3 kingdoms period. The same is true for the 18 princes. King Pingnan, this marquis is the canon of the current king. You actually keep claiming that you call the current king's mother the demon queen, and you will be punished. It seems, my lord wants to learn some incense teachings, so I'm raising the flag of rebellion. There was no change on Li Daosu's face, he said slowly. The demon queen is messing up the country, you partisans, since you are so obsessed. Then we have to send you on your way. King Pingnan's voice was cold, his eyes swept over Li Daosu, and he looked at Li Yu's carriage behind. Pointing at the long knife in his hand, he coldly shouted. The Li family is the demon queen's henchmen, they should all be exterminated. General Chen, you punish Li Yu. For Li Yu, the grandfather of the Li family who beheaded Jing'anho. He still pays some attention. So, they directly dispatched the strongest under their command, the Chen Chu, from the Divine Palace Grand Master realm. Don't worry, my lord. An old guy, relying on the old to sell the old. The final general will screw off his head and use it as a chamber pot for the prince. Ha ha ha. In ferocious laughter, Chen Chu rushed directly from the city wall, and the terrifying true essence burst out. The air twists and the airflow explodes. Behind him rose the phantom of a terrifying war ape, roaring towards the sky. This is the true meaning he comprehended from the combat martial art, War Ape God Fist. And, he has comprehended this true meaning to the 2nd level. Under blessing, make his great completion realm's top-grade fist technique, War Ape Fist, even more terrifying. It can almost increase his attack power by about 40%. Ajin, you go. Li Yu glanced lightly and ordered directly. This Jin. Naturally, it was the remnant, golden retriever war ape, subdued by him with the beast ring. Go to the state capital. This powerful beast can be regarded as the 2nd most powerful beast in the family today. Of course you have to bring it too. Roar. An astonishing roar suddenly came from a large carriage. A golden light flashed. The golden-haired war ape with golden hair, slender arms, and terrifying blood has rushed out. Its eyes are full of rage. Chi and blood rushed up from behind, condensed into a mountain, toweringly, with a terrifying momentum. Bang! Punch out! A lifelike mountain peak was directly shot out by him. There are towering ancient trees, huge boulders, waterfalls falling from the sky, roaring of strange beasts, roaring of fierce birds. Golden retriever war ape. Chen Chu's face was horrified, and he shouted in disbelief. The war ape god fist, he practiced. In fact, it is the fist technique formed by imitating the golden retriever war ape. And now he actually saw a living golden retriever war ape. How can it be? How could such a terrifying remnant suddenly appear in front of him? Ah, he looked at the terrifying mountain that had been punched. His black hair was messed up, and he roared angrily. Same punch. Boom. The fist collided with the mountain peak. Click, click, click. There was a creepy bone-crushing sound. Chen Chu's fist exploded, his arm exploded, blood and flesh splattered, and bone scum was everywhere. That mountain peak is like a broken bamboo. Dash dash dash. It hit Chen Chu's chest directly. His whole body was like a kite with a broken string, flying upside down and hitting the city wall. Boom. A pothole was smashed out of the city wall, and gravel flew around. Chen Chu's body was rotten, his blood stained his surroundings, his head was tilted, and he had lost all breath. A face-to-face. This second-rank Divine Palace Great Master. He was directly beaten to death by the Golden Retriever War Ape. Roar. The Golden Retriever War Ape stood on the ground, looked at King Pingnan and the others on the city wall, and roared angrily. The golden hair is shining, and the mountain behind stands tall, and the momentum is too wrist. Although this Golden Retriever War Ape is only the second rank of Divine Palace Realm. But he is an ancient relic with impure blood. The power is huge, far surpassing the same rank human beings. It has almost reached the point of 4 or 5 million caddies. And he also holds Shaocheng Realm's Baoshan seal, which has also been completed now. Belongs to Spirit rank top grade. Increase the attack power by 50% again. Not only that, it also comprehended the true meaning of Baoshan seal, the true meaning of Baoshan. This is the true meaning of the earth. Increase its attack power by 10% again. These add up to. It has such a terrifying effect. One punch 2 turns Divine Palace Great Master. Hiss. City wall. Pingnan Wang Lushi gasped. His pupils shrank to the size of a needle eye. He felt his scalp go numb as if it was about to explode. Horrible. Chen Chu actually punched. Dash. Was killed. What strength is this? It is definitely comparable to the 4-turn Divine Palace Great Master, or even the 5-turn Divine Palace Great Master. How could the Li family have such a terrifying alien beast? There was a surge of fear in his heart. Although he is also a Divine Palace Great Master himself. But the same as Chen Chu. It's just a second turn to Divine Palace Great Master. Chen Chudu was punched to death. He doesn't think he can withstand a few punches. Thoughts raced through his mind. Want to be subdued. But before he could figure it out, Li Yu's indifferent and cold voice sounded. Pingnan King Lu Shi conspired against. All the gangsters will be killed, and the rest will be saved from death if they set things right. The sound boomed, resounding directly over the entire state capital. 2.1. This terrifying cultivation base. Lu Shi's face turned pale, and his eyes were full of fear. The information is wrong. Where is Li Yu, the first or second turn Divine Palace Great Master? It is obviously not weaker than the terrifying Great Master of the Golden Retriever War Ape. Kill. Li Daosu looked cold. Straight out. The majestic qi and blood can no longer be hidden, rising mightily into the sky. Like a wave of wolf smoke, it is extremely terrifying. God. Divine Palace Great Master. King Pingnan took a step back, his face pale. Li Dosu is also the Divine Palace Great Master. Kill. Li Zimo drank coldly, his black hair flying. Also stepping towards the sky, rushing towards the city wall. The blood on the back is like lead and mercury, as if it is about to turn into bloody lightning. Another Divine Palace Great Master. King Pingnan's voice was trembling, full of disbelief. The Li family is actually so strong. 1 door 3 Great Master. And there is also a terrifying Golden Retriever War Ape. He was full of regrets. I have endured it for so many years. Why stop holding back and jump out at this time? Dare not have any hesitation. He turned around and fled towards the city. 43%. Chapter 127. One arrow explodes the Great Master. Activate the watchtower. 4th more. City wall. The soldiers of Pingnan Palace were dumbfounded. The prince has already run away. What are they still doing here? All of them were pale and bloodless. Hastily dropped the weapon and ran into the ancient city in a panic. Thinking of the terrifying golden-haired war ape outside the city. Their legs are weak. Even General Chen Chu. They were all beaten to death. That is the Divine Palace Great Master. The powerful and invincible Divine Palace Great Master. Among thousands of troops, beheading the enemy's leader is like the Divine Palace Great Master who is searching for something. Their small stature. I'm afraid to blow my breath. They will all be blown away and killed. Actually. Even if King Pingnan doesn't run away. They also crashed. King Pingnan also knew this, so he made a decisive decision and ran for his life. This is also the horror of the Divine Palace Great Master. Although the Divine Palace Great Master will also be tired, and will also run out of real energy. But, often the true yuan of the Divine Palace Great Master has not been exhausted. The morale of the soldiers collapsed completely. That's why. The reason why it is unrealistic to surround and kill the Divine Palace Great Master with a large army. Unless, the legendary elite who condensed the soul of 100 battles. Snort. Li Daosu stood on the tower. Looking at Pingnan King Lu Shi, who was running wildly for his life, his face was full of coldness. He held out his right hand, grabbed towards his back. As if grabbing something, it suddenly twitched. Immediately, a war bow cast like a spine appeared in his hand. A blood-colored bowstring stretched out. Li Daosu had flying black hair and his eyes were like lightning. The whole person stood on the highest tower, wearing a black robe, like a peerless great master. He bowed 21 arrows. True chi surges. A pale golden long arrow was condensed out. The long arrow pointed directly at Pingnan King Lu Shi, who had escaped more than 300 meters away. 10 Sun Earth Demon. 3-day gathering. Li Daosu gave a low snort. As soon as the hand was loosened, the pale golden long arrow shot out instantly. While shooting, under the earth, there are 3 terrifying forces of earthly evil rushing out and pouring into the long arrow. In a trance, it seems that 3 rounds of magic sun have formed, trying to push the world horizontally. Boom. The air is blasted. The airflow howled, directly forming an astonishing gust of wind, sweeping to both sides. Pingnan King Lu Shi, who was frantically fleeing for his life, suddenly felt a terrifying breath approaching rapidly. He looked back. Immediately, he saw the 3 rounds of magic sun flying across the sky, rushing forward with a posture that crushed everything. Immediately, the souls of the dead burst out, and their faces were full of panic. Without even thinking about it, I fell directly towards a house below. But unfortunately, he is not slow. But how can it compare to the 10 Sun Earth Demon arrow, which is far faster than the speed of sound? His body just moved. The long arrow has already shot at him. The barrier formed by the condensed essence. It's just that I can't resist a tenth of my breath. It was completely pierced. Boom. The 3 rounds of magic sun exploded. The terrifying explosion power raised the houses below to the ground, and the smoke and dust shot up into the sky. The fragments of the shattered corpse were thrown out. Obviously, this Pingnan King, he was shot by Li Daosu with an arrow. The other side, the last Divine Palace Great Master of the Pingnan Palace saw this scene, and his heart broke. The pupils of a pair of eyes shrank smaller than the tip of a needle. In addition to fear, it is still fear. Died. Chen Chu was killed with a single punch. The prince was also shot by an arrow. The old man of the Li family has not yet made a move. They just died 2 Divine Palace Great Masters. Not far away, Li Daolong's slender body stood on top of an attic. He looks somewhat similar to Li Daosu, with thick black hair. But the breath is much colder. Withdrawing the spine warbow from the back, true chi condenses into an arrow. There is no pause in the arrow, and it also carries the power of 3 rounds of magic yang. Fiercely shot, everything in the void seemed to be completely pierced. Rumble. The sky and the earth are roaring, just a flash. Just come on the last Divine Palace Great Master. Terrible explosions set off. The ground was blasted into a large pit more than 10 meters away, and the smoke and dust rushed up, and it was full of flesh and blood. 3 Divine Palace Great Masters. Just in the blink of an eye. They all fell. This scene is extremely terrifying. It made a large number of practitioners in the state capital look pale and tremble. 2 strong. Divine Palace Great Master. They were all killed with ease. Within the government office, Fu Zun Shangming sat down on the ground with disbelief on his face. How could it be possible? Divine Palace Great Master was shot and killed so easily. How could the Li family be so scary? That is the Divine Palace Great Master. Not Martial Master. His lips moved, his face was pale, but he didn't make any sound. It's over. He will definitely not survive. The next day, the riot died down. The Divine Palace Great Master is a well-deserved top power within the Yan Kingdom. And now, 3 Divine Palace Great Masters died. In the entire state capital, where is there any force that dares to jump around? What did Li Daosu order? They just do. Who dares to resist? After all, the powerful Pingnan Palace. There are 3 Divine Palace Great Masters. But in a blink of an eye, it became a passing cloud, and they all died. At this time, the hundreds of carriages have already been settled. Pingnan Prince's mansion is a large courtyard in Fucheng. Now, naturally, it became the residence of the Li family. It turns out that a checkpoint in the north was slaughtered by Ren Baichuan. As a result, a large army from Hu State in the north entered Yan State and occupied 3 cities in Beizhou. Pingnan King, 9th Stage King, Yecheng King, Sanlu King, Northwest King, 5 clan princes. Directly mobilize the army, issue a call to action to fight against the outside world first, and order the Qing emperor to side, and punish the demon queen. In a small yard, Li Yu sat on the recliner, looking at the information just sent in his hand, a little speechless. It's still related to Ren Baichuan's dog licking. Obviously, the other party hated Zhou Yuan, his rival in love. In addition, Ling Daozong regards all living beings as straw people and the urine nature of materials. Past the level, it's perfectly normal to kill a checkpoint casually. But it set off a series of reactions. There is a gap at the border. Hu Guo naturally would not give up such a great opportunity. And this obviously stimulated those princes. Certainly. This is also related to the decline of royal power, and the various regions have long been faintly separated. Breed too much ambition of these clan princes. Gather the princes of the world at Linjiang Pass to discuss the plan to kill the demon queen. Li Yu shook her head. Keep the intelligence on the table handy. He is not very interested in these. He occupies a county, or intends to occupy 10 states. It's all just to complete system tasks. This annoying thing. He has no intention of going to take part in it. Empress Dowager Bai Qingling has to deal with it. This Empress Dowager is not a simple character. Cruel and ruthless, he has no shortage of political skills. There are rumors. Originally, the position of King Yan was not her son's. It was Bai Qingling who did not know how to get several important ministers to agree to make her son king. Then they merged vertically and horizontally, and listened to the government behind the curtain. Even an important minister, because of disagreement with her. He was pierced with bones and died in prison. All these kinds. Li Yu didn't know before. But since Yi Nuhuan took over this person, he has understood a little bit. Let them call. He leaned back on the recliner and closed his eyes. He's mostly going through it now. To deal with the Lingdao sect that will come at any time. It is the scariest. Afternoon. Li Yu stood in the martial arts arena. This mansion occupies a very large area. Originally, Marquis Pingnan kept a guard here in name. But it is actually a team of private soldiers. A full 500 people. Practice often, so the martial arts arena is extraordinarily huge. Here, it just happens to be able to place the watchtower. There is exotic treasure in this world. You don't have to worry about being assassinated all the time. Quote. He whispered to himself. Although with the strength of several members of the family, they stepped into the heavenly origin 4th stage. He has an astonishing increase in strength. But I never feel that I am invincible. Will not underestimate anyone. And the assassin. Naturally, they are the kind of people he is very wary of. There are cultivators and martial Dao powerhouses in this world. There are so many secret techniques that are innumerable. Maybe there is some secret method that can allow people to avoid his powerful mental energy. He himself is not afraid. But the children are far less powerful than him. And the exotic treasure of the world like the Tower of Watch can ignore all the secrets of invisibility. 130. It is the absolute nemesis of assassins. It is also a cultivator nemesis who can fly with a sword. Without hesitation, he flipped his right hand. Immediately, the bloody watchtower appeared in his hands. Quaint and refined, he waved his hand lightly again. On the ground in front of him, 3,000 spiritual coins appeared. The astonishing aura flickered, making people dazzled. And with the appearance of spirit coins, the watchtower in his hand also vibrated slightly. As if, can't wait to absorb those 3,000 spirit coins. But this vibration is very slight. Not out of control. Just to send you a message. The watchtower stands. This land with a radius of thousands of feet has become an absolutely safe place. Today, I'm afraid there are many people who will be shot directly. Li Yu whispered. He didn't believe it. The forces, practitioners, and people of the entire state capital. In just one day, he was obedient to his Li family, without the slightest hostility. There must be many more. My heart is full of hostility. But no people, no face but not heart. This hidden, hostile practitioner, force. Don't say they are divine palace great masters. It is the Qiming cultivator, or a gold core cultivator with a higher first level than the Qiming cultivator. It is completely impossible to find out clearly. Go. There is expectation in his eyes. Throw the watchtower in your hand and land on the 3,000 spirit coins. Immediately, an astonishing blood-colored light diffused out. 3,000 spirit coins exploded immediately. It turned into a terrifying spirit power, like a long river of spirit power. Instantly flood into the watchtower. 3,000 spirit coins. That is a terrifying energy comparable to the majestic true chi of 3,000 ninth stage martial masters. Boom. The earth shook suddenly. In the bloody light. The Tower of Watch expands rapidly. The shocking blood-colored divine light was dazzling. It was like a bloody sun erupting directly on this martial arts arena. 43%. Chapter 128. Within 1,000 feet, I am invincible. Fifth more. The blood is brilliant. But it didn't go too high. But some mansions that are close can also be seen. They all looked over in surprise. The head of the Wu family jumped onto the roof, frowning and watching. Several Wu family elders also jumped up and stood behind him. All of them frowned, a little worried. What is the Li family doing? Such an astonishing blood light. Could it be that Mrs. Li practiced some kind of sorcery? Whispered an elder. Not like. The blood is thick, but there is no evil spirit. The other elder shook his head. Paused. He looked at the patriarch in front of him, hesitated a bit, but still said. Patriarch, what about some family members? The king of Pingnan is powerful. Since Jing'anho Mansion and Baiyu Temple were destroyed one after another, King Pingnan is the strongest force in Qinzhou. So, their Wu family also has a branch, and they took refuge in King Pingnan. It's just that the weather is unpredictable. In the blink of an eye, the huge Pingnan Palace was directly defeated, and Pingnan King died. 2 other Divine Palace Great Masters also died. And he has heard of it. That's in the rumors. Killed Li Daolongyi, the second son of the Li family of the Divine Palace Great Master with 1 arrow. He brought people and horses with him yesterday. Went to Pingnan County. Pingnan Palace is located in Pingnan County. The entire Pingnan County is a one-word hall of the Pingnan Prince's mansion. Li Daolong took people there. What purpose can be imagined? Definitely cut the weeds. It can be seen that the Li family is ruthless. And those children of their family, if the Li family finds out. He shuddered, a little afraid to think about it. The patriarch of the Wu family's face was cloudy and uncertain. Those family members. It is headed by his 2 sons. Could it be possible? He can still hand over his own son to die. Think here. His face turned cold, and he said with a flick of his sleeves. Shaner and the others have only had friendship with Prince Pingnan's son, and have never participated in King Pingnan's rebellion. Remember it. Dawn. Several elders nodded helplessly. They do know. The 2 young lords had already made obeisance to Prince Na Pingnan's son. And it seems that the 2 young masters also worship the Prince Pingnan very much. Now Prince Pingnan's son is dead. The 2 young masters. I'm afraid I have deep hostility towards the Li family in my heart. In case something happens, their Wu family is afraid that they will follow in the footsteps of Prince Pingnan's residence. Rest assured, from today onwards, they and those descendants of the clan are not allowed to step out of the clan half-step. The patriarch of the Wu family knew what the elders were worried about, and said. Even if the son is grounded, it is absolutely impossible for him to let his son die. In this way, I can rest assured. Several elders breathed a sigh of relief. This can be regarded as the best of both worlds. The blood is gone. Sudden. They were a little surprised to find. The blood-colored light from the backyard of the Li family has disappeared. Several people were amazed, not knowing what the Li family was going to do. There is nothing to see. Several people were preparing to go down from the roof. What is that? Suddenly, an elder exclaimed, even showing a bit of horror on his face. Including the head of the Wu family, the 4 of them had a meal. Looking up suspiciously, just a glance, several people felt their scalps go numb and their faces were full of horror. Arrow. Bloody arrow. At a terrifyingly extreme speed, it shot out from the backyard of the Li family. The 10 blood-colored long arrows seemed to pierce through the void. In a blink of an eye, it disappeared into several mansions in the distance. And the next second, another 10 bloody long arrows were shot out. Come to us. Several elders were shocked, but it's not waiting for them to react. The bloody long arrow was inside their mansion, and one area disappeared. Suddenly there was an astonishing sound of fear. That was not the scream before dying. It was someone who saw the terrified cry of the sudden death of the person next to him. There is. It's Shaner and the others. Patriarch Wu's heart trembled, and the blood on his face faded completely. He was terrified. Think with your ass. He knows that those bloody long arrows are definitely not good things. But there was no time for him to react. Another 10 bloody long arrows were shot out. 2 of them were assigned to his Wu family. Then the next second. Just 20 seconds. A few of them stood on the roof and watched blankly. Totally don't know what to do. 20 seconds. 200 bloody long arrows. His Wu family was divided into 19 branches. Stand for another 10 seconds or so. No more bloody long arrows descended from his Wu family. But in the sky, the radiance of the bloody long arrow did not stop for a moment. The entire state city was completely shocked. Everyone stared dumbfounded at the fleeting bloody light in the sky. No one knows what this is. No one knows what this means. Go and see Xianer and the others. The head of the Wu family said in a trembling voice. Several people hurriedly felt the 5 courtyards connected together. These 5 courtyards are for the children who participated in the Pingnan King's incident. But at this time, except for a few people who collapsed to the ground with pale faces, everyone else are all dead. There was a thumb-thick blood hole between the eyebrows, and bright red blood flowed out. Xianer, city. The patriarch of the Wu family howled, tears gushed out, and threw himself on the 2 corpses. These are his only 2 sons. All dead. They all turned into corpses. Oh, the Li family. I am at odds with you. The patriarch of the Wu family let out a low growl, with piercing hatred in his eyes. He knows. The bloody long arrow was all made by the Li family. Own son. It was the Li family who killed it. But the next second, a bloody long arrow came across the sky. It pierced directly between his eyebrows, splashed a few drops of blood, and disappeared without a trace. Well, there was a daze in his eyes. It seems that I can't figure out why I died suddenly. Boom. The corpse fell to the ground, its eyes widened, and it was unrepentant. Around, those Wu family elders suddenly sat down on the ground, their faces pale. They have vaguely guessed. This bloody long arrow is the standard for killing people. Before, they came here from the main hall. Although the time is not long. But there are also hundreds of breaths. None of the less than arrows appeared in their Wu family again. But the patriarch had just developed hatred and hostility towards the Li family. Immediately, a long bloody arrow descended from the sky, killing people. What does this mean? This shows that the bloody long arrow. All those who are hostile to the Li family will be. Shoot them all. This afternoon. Just a moment. Less than 200 breath times. More than 5,000 blood-colored long arrows were shot from the Li family, crisscrossing the area with a radius of thousands of feet. Everyone in this area was trembling and their faces were pale. Many people already know. The bloody long arrow fell. There must be one death. Whether it's an ordinary person, a body-refining practitioner, or a powerful martial master. All without exception. Many people from the Pingnan Palace who are hiding. They were all shot dead. The breath of terror. Cover the entire state city. 500,000 or 600,000 people all looked in the direction of the Li family in awe and fear. Even, some ordinary people knelt on the ground and worshipped the old man of the Li family as a god. Yard. Li Yu looked at the watchtower that no longer shot bloody long arrows. His face was full of amazement. Too strong. 1 second is 10 bloody long arrows. Each bloody long arrow. The power can be compared with the blow of Kiming's 3-layer cultivator. This level of terrorist attacks. Even 4 turns of Divine Palace Great Master. I can't stop it. Besides, even if you block a long bloody arrow, can that stop 10? Can block 10? Does that stop 10 shots every second? Not to mention the 4-turn Divine Palace Great Master. Even rank 5 and rank 6 Divine Palace Great Masters will be shot. Even 7-turn Divine Palace Great Master. It is possible to be kept within the envelope of the watchtower forever. More importantly, this watchtower can also be upgraded. At this time, at the bottom of the watchtower, there was a hazy layer of blood-colored light shining. The light was dim. You can't see it unless you look carefully. And it only occupies the bottom shallow layer. Perhaps. It may occupy 2% of the entire watchtower. When it reaches 30%, the power can be raised to the 4th level of Kiming, and the range is 500 feet longer. When it reaches 60%, the power can be raised to the 5th level of Kiming, and the range will be 500 feet longer. When it reaches 100%, the power can be raised to the 6th level of Kiming, and the range will increase by 1,000 feet at once. Li Yu's eyes sparkled. Up to 100%. This tower of watch. It is the second-level watchtower. At that time, one shot of an arrow is comparable to a full-strength strike by a 6-story cultivator of Kiming. And the radius of 3 good Jiaohao thousands of feet. All within attack range. 3,000 feet. That's 20 miles. A radius of 20 miles. The diameter is 40 miles. Basically, it is more than enough to cover the entire state capital. But to be promoted, it seems difficult. Today more than 5,600 people were shot and killed, which is only close to 2%. Li Yu shook his head. This watchtower is upgraded. Rely entirely on killing. The more creatures killed, the stronger the creatures killed. Upgrade faster too. This is the real killing exotic treasure. But even now, it is also basically enough. People from the Lingdao sect came to investigate. It must be at most the 4th level of enlightenment. At this level, the Tower of Watch is completely capable of shooting. He smiled slightly. Turn around and leave. But just a few steps. A message pops up. Ding. Your family's martial art. Blood Capital Secret Demon 9th Stage Thunder Saber. Observed the power of the exotic treasure in the world. Felt it, and comprehended the true meaning of Thunder Demon, true meaning of heavenly rank. Li Yu paused. His whole mind seemed to explode at this moment. A figure that pierces through the sky and is wrapped in endless bloody buds. Standing in his mind, roaring to the sky. 43%. Chapter 129 Special Physique, Badao Spirit Physique. First update. This figure. A ferocious blood-colored brontosaur is wrapped around his hands. There are also 2 terrifying thunder snakes hanging from the ears. Wearing a scarlet battle armor on his body, he looks like an unrivaled devil venerable who came out of Devil World. A hair-raising breath exudes, as if moving casually. It can tear all enemies to pieces. Berserk to the extreme. Crazy to the extreme. Bloody to the extreme. The power is so strong that it is simply creepy. Roar. A roar seemed to rush out of his mind directly. Destroy the world in front of you directly, and crumble it into ashes. This terrifying power and influence. It was the only time I saw Li Yu in his life. Too strong. After a long time, Li Yu just woke up, amazed and extremely happy. This is indeed the true meaning of heavenly rank. Just terrible. He can't even imagine. How invincible is this creature called Thunder Demon? He already knows. Whatever the practitioner really means. Most of them are phantoms of creatures. There are also phantoms of weapons, treasures, etc. And the phantom of the creature. They are all real creatures. As for what the true meaning will be understood. Mostly because of martial arts. And he originally evolved into the Blood City Secret Demon Zanpakudao through the 5 Tigers Broken Door Knife. Blood City Mystic Demon 9th Stage Rai Daoyi, which evolved from Blood City Mystic Demon Zanpakudo. Is it actually related to this terrifying Thunder Demon? Vertical palm into a knife. A trace of lightning emerged. He slashed forward lightly. Immediately, a terrifying palm force easily tore the ground apart. Using the true meaning of Thunder Demon to drive the Secret Demon 9th Stage Thunder Knife of the Blood City. The power has actually increased by 40% again. Too strong. As expected, it is the true meaning of 747 heavenly rank. There was a look of excitement in his eyes. Original. 3rd stage's Blood City Mystic Demon 9th Stage Thunder Knife. It can increase the attack power by 60%. Now it's 40% more. That is 10 levels of power. This is a double improvement. It was horrific. With his current basic attack power of about 1.6 million caddies. Execute Blood City Secret Demon 9th Stage Thunder Knife with Thunder Demon True Intent. The power will be able to reach a terrifying 3.2 million caddies. How terrible is this? Converted to the unit before crossing. That's 1,600 tons. Cut it down with a knife. A terrifying power of 1,600 tons. What is the concept? It can smash the city wall of the state capital 25 feet high with one blow. This, not counting the eruption of the heavenly serpent's spiritual body. And the terror of the real dragon eye between eyebrows. If using the heavenly serpent spirit body, his physical strength is doubled, and the basic attack power. It will reach 2.2 million caddies. Then use Thunder Demon's true intentions to cast the Blood Capital Mystic Demon 9th Stage Thunder Knife. The power will reach 4.4 million caddies. Now. Not just him. The 7 members of the family. One counts as one. The strength has skyrocketed. Even just a few people who like fist technique. The strength also skyrocketed. They love fist technique. But it doesn't mean that they don't know the Blood Capital Secret Demon 9th Stage Thunder Knife. The true meaning of heavenly rank. At least it is equivalent to the true meaning of the third level. Strengthen the true meaning of the second level monster. After a while, Li Yu calmed down slowly, talking softly to herself. At this time, take his daughter Li Deyin as an example. Realm of Heavenly Origin 4th stage. The basic attack power of about 240,000 Jin. 4th stage Realm Blood City Mystic Demon 9th stage Thunder Knife. Coupled with Lei Mo's true meaning. That's a 1.2x improvement. One knife down. More than 520,000 caddies. The 3-turn Divine Palace Great Master combined with Great Completion's upper-level combat martial arts at the ground level and the second-level human level true meaning are nothing more than that. Divine Palace Realm. 1 turn to Divine Palace Great Master. The basic attack power is almost 200,000 Jin. The second turn is Divine Palace Great Master. The basic attack power is almost 300,000 caddies. Every extra turn, it almost increases the attack power of 100,000 caddies. The stronger the basic attack power. With the same martial arts and true meaning, the power that can be amplified will naturally be stronger. Autumn rains continuously. The land of Yan Kingdom. Every autumn, there is always a lot of rain. It was as if God was angry and wanted to flood the whole world with this endless autumn rain. The rolling thunder is the roar of God. Time imperceptibly. It's already mid-October. Li Yu remembered that he traveled here in July last year. In the blink of an eye. 15 months have passed. Submit the task of occupying a county for more than 3 months. He looked at the family interface, the task column. With a calm face, he chose to submit. It has been more than 2 months since it occupied the state capital. Daughter Li Daoyan cleaned up Mengjiang County that was originally under the control of Baiyuguan. Then, without stopping, he rushed to Nanan County. The eldest grandson, Li Zimo, also cleaned up Yuling County. The second son, Li Daolong, scanned Lintai County where the state capital is located. In addition to Jujiao County, the base camp of their Li family. The whole of Qinzhou, the Dianxiang sect has been suppressed by the suppressed, and those who fled escaped. The rest of the big and small forces surrendered one after another. Outside world, already in the vibe, the Li family has 5 great masters, and a terrifying golden retriever war ape. Such a terrifying strength. The whole of Qinzhou. Who dares to be an enemy? Reminder. Occupy Jujiao County City for 150 days, successfully complete the task, and get rewards. Human level high grade military soul condensing method 1, human level high grade sword 1500, human grade high grade armor 1500, human level high grade crossbow 1500, spirit coin 150, heavenly origin low level meat field 3. Reminder. The first person in the world to complete the task of occupying a county for more than 3 months will receive a reward. Overlord Sword Spirit Body only for children and grandchildren, CBFI. Hint. The task has been updated. Mission. Occupy a state for more than 3 months with a population of more than 15 million. The method of condensing the military soul. Badao Spirit Body. Li Yu's eyes lit up. There is no place to look for when you break through the iron shoes, and you can get it without any effort. This time, he has been buying the method of condensing military souls on the trade panel. Can be acquired at all. Even if he offered a high price of 1,000 spirit coins. Also still no. Unexpectedly, this time, after completing the task, I got it directly. He looked at the large number of items that appeared out of thin air in front of him. A jade slip, with bloody aura, suspended in the void. A ball of light, also suspended in the air, has a ferocious and fierce meaning. As for spirit coins, meat fields, and equipment, he just glanced at them and didn't pay attention. Reach out, grab the jade slip, press between the eyebrows. Immediately, a lot of information about how to gather military spirits appeared in his mind. I see. Military souls are also divided into levels. A low-grade army soul of the human rank needs 500 soldiers of body refining 7th stage or above to condense it. After condensing it, depending on the strength of the soldiers, it can rival the Grand Master of the Divine Palace from the first to the third turn. A human-level middle-grade army soul can only be condensed by 1,500 soldiers of body refining 7th stage or above. Cohesion is successful. Depending on the strength of the soldiers, it can match the rank 4 to 6 Divine Palace Great Master. And the human rank high-grade military soul. Soldiers above 5,000 body refining 7th stage are comparable to 7th stage 9 cycles Divine Palace Great Master. Li Yu's eyes lit up. This is too strong. If there is no military spirit. 500 soldiers from the body refining 7th stage. If you run into a Divine Palace Great Master, you will be killed and completely collapsed. After all, Divine Palace Great Master. The stamina is 10 times stronger than that of Martial Master. Every move of hand and every shot requires hundreds of thousands of caddies of strength. Any body refining practitioner. If you touch it, you will die. If you touch it, you will be injured, and the attack range is terrifying. How to spell? Only by uniting the souls of the army can the Divine Palace Great Master be suppressed. Now, there are already more than 5,200 people in the elite training camp. The soldiers above body refining 7th stage are just in their early 500. It's possible to train an army that condenses the soul of a low-grade army. He whispered to himself. These 2 months, he, Li Jiajun, killed the 3rd grade master of Pingnan Wangfu. The blood-colored long arrows of the watchtower traverse the sky, shooting and killing all enemies. The entire Qinzhou was swept away. The Dianxiang sect even sent a Divine Palace Great Master, but was instantly killed by Li Daoyan. All kinds. Let the Li family army, which has expanded to 30,000. They are all proud, and their sense of belonging to the Li family has greatly increased. Loyalty. Nature is also straight up. Li Yu has found out. Actually, if the loyalty reaches 60, that is the qualified level, and they will not rebel normally. When you reach 70, you are already considered loyal. Even if you want to raise the flag to rebel, you will follow you. Reaching 80 means being loyal and willing to shed blood for their Li family. And reach 90, that is already willing to die for their Li family, and even block arrows with their bodies. So, with 30,000 Li family troops, more than 5,000 of them have the loyalty to reach the 8 kings. It is already extremely rare. Loyalty is the heart. It takes a long time to develop bit by bit. It seems. We will continue to expand the army. Before lighting incense was a disaster. A large number of people were separated from their wives and children, and they were displaced. Too many people want to join the army, to feed themselves and their families. Li Yu's eyes were calm. Li Jiajun. It is a basic barracks. Only in elite training camp. An army that can condense the soul of the army. They are the elite of their Li family. He looked at another strange object. Overlord Sword Spirit. Badao Spirit Body. He murmured and reached out to hold it. Immediately, a message rushed into his mind. His eyes widened in an instant, full of astonishment and shock. This domineering spirit, it is actually a special kind of physique. And this effect, it's too scary. 44%. Chapter 130. The 3 major forces besieged and killed Li Daoyan. Second more. Overlord Sword Spirit. Born to dominate the sword. For any saber technique, there is an extraordinary understanding. Especially the domineering saber technique. And the person who possesses the spirit body of Bao Dao. Use the domineering saber technique. The power of the saber technique will increase by about 50%. It turns out that this vast world actually has these special physiques. Li Yu was amazed. A glimpse of a leopard in a tube. Since there is such a special physique as the Overlord Sword Spirit physique, there must be other kinds of special constitutions. Even a special physique stronger than the Ba Dao spirit body. Or the celestial snake spirit body owned by their family. It is possible that, somewhere in the world, someone is born with it. There is no need to use it as a secret technique like them. But a constitution, you can't use it for yourself, you can only give it to your children and grandchildren. He has some regrets. After all, one of the family. The strongest combat power is always oneself. But suddenly his heart moved. My own ancestor. But it can bring together all the strengths of the family members. Then this domineering sword spirit. After I give it to my children, will it also appear on me? Think about it this way. He suddenly became a little excited. If so, his strength will also skyrocket. With the integration of more and more cultivation techniques from the Taizan Natural God chapter. The true qi required to advance is also becoming more and more terrifying. Almost 120 times of the same rank martial master. That is to say, his children and grandchildren. The time required for cultivation is 120 times that of martial master with the same low qualification as cultivation base. Others promoted from heavenly origin 4th stage to heavenly origin 5th stage. It takes 10 years to advance, and they have to practice 1,200 years. Even if you die of old age, you will not be able to complete 1/10 of your practice progress. But fortunately, after Taizan swallowed a lot of spirit power. Now it has reached 240 times. In addition, on this basis, Lingbi has increased by nearly 15 times. Sons and grandchildren advance to heavenly origin 5th stage. It will take some time. And the future. The higher the cultivation base, the longer it will take. Taizan Tianshengxian Zhang can only practice about 10 times faster in 1 month now. It can't keep up with everyone in the family. The higher the cultivation base, the longer it takes to advance. But this is already an extremely terrifying practice speed. One more upgrade. Li Yu has nothing to do. So, in this case, the means to increase strength in addition is naturally extremely important. Try. I hope it works on me. He took a deep breath. Open the family interface. Open the personal information of daughter Li Deyin. That's right. This domineering sword spirit, he is going to give it to his daughter Li Deyin. After all, in the family. Although on the surface, the daughter is soft-tempered. But the most domineering and ruthless, and the sexiest. It is most suitable for this overlord sword spirit body. And, of all family members, daughter Li Deyin is also the strongest. Now Blood City Secret Demon 9th Stage Thunder Knife. Has cultivated to the 5th stage level, extremely terrifying. 5th stage is Blood City Mystic Demon 9th Stage Thunder Knife. Can double the attack power. And let's count Lei Mo's true meaning. That's 1.4 times. And now, there will be more Overlord Sword Spirits. It will increase the power of Saber Technique by about 50%. That is to say, daughter Li Daoyan who has a domineering sword spirit. A full blow. It will reach a terrifying increase of 2.1 times. This is a terrifying increase that all self-proclaimed genius practitioners in the Six Nations region dare not dream of. What arrogance. What evildoers. In front of such Li Deyin, everything is not enough to look at. Nan'an County. This was originally the base camp of the Jing'anhu Mansion. However, after the Jing'anhu Mansion was wiped out by the Li family, the large and small forces in Nan'an County are all for the property left by the Jing'an Marquis Mansion. I don't know how many times I fought. There are even high-rank martial masters falling because of this. After all, the Jing'anhu Mansion is huge. Restaurants, cloth houses, tea houses, food, brothels, weapons. All walks of life. The Jing'anhu Mansion has all intervened, and they all occupy a major share. The Jing'anhu's mansion fell in one day. Such great benefits. Naturally, a large number of forces in Nan'an County went crazy. For the first month or two, there are large-scale fights every day in Nan'an County. More than a dozen middle and low-level martial masters die every day. Totally insane. At this time, Li Daoyan was riding a war horse, with 3,000 hairs flying, looking at the county town with its gates closed. This is Layan County, one of the 7 counties in Nan'an County. Behind her, the 5,000 Li family troops wore helmets and armor, held weapons, and were full of energy. Amitabha. The old man is strict with the law. The head of the Arhat Hall of Longxiang Temple. The Zheng family in Layan County is my disciple of the Lei family of Longxiang Temple. I also asked Miss Li to hold her hands high. The astonishing true essence vibrated in the air, and a peaceful and thick sound came out. City wall. A tall and thin old monk was wearing a gray monk's robe, and he clasped his hands in the direction of Li Daokai. Later, it is the head of the Zheng family, the magistrate of Layan County, the captain and others. Monk, you leave now, I won't kill you. Li Deyin said softly. Although her voice was not loud, it sounded on the city wall. Very peaceful, very calm, not a trace of murderous. It's like a lady from a big family, speaking in a soft voice. And the deeper the cultivation base. Li Deyin's petite body skin is also getting fairer, and she looks much younger. Even if some people say that this is a little girl under 20, people will definitely believe it. Taizan Tianshengxian Zhang is too strong. The effect of beauty and beauty is not inferior to cultivation technique. Even, it's better than a few points. After all, there are too many cultivation techniques incorporated into the Taizan Natural God chapter. Many of them are negative. Negative cultivation technique. Most of them have the function of beautifying and nourishing the skin. It seems that Miss Li really has deep-rooted demonic nature and is hopeless. Forget it. My Buddha naturally has the means to subdue demons. Yan Fa shook his head and let out a long sigh. As if feeling sorry for Li Deyin. As his voice fell, immediately, on the left side of Li Daoyan, in the forest thousands of meters away, a figure slowly walked out. This is also an old monk, wearing a blood-red monk robe, with several scars on his face, which looks extremely scary. The true energy rushed up from behind, and condensed into a phantom of Vajra glaring at him, which was extremely terrifying. Holding a Jadao in his hand, he looked at Li Daoyan fiercely, and said coldly. The old man is severely punished, the head of the law enforcement hall of Longxiang Temple. Devil Dao, why don't you catch him without a fight? One of the mountains on the right. Ha ha ha, Li Daoyan, kill me, Divine Palace Great Master, today is your death day. A figure of a middle-aged man rushed out, and his true essence swept away, forming a long river rushing behind him. Holding a sword in his hand, the sharpness of the sword seems to pierce everything. Call out. A ray of light rose from the county town, turning into a cultivator with flying sword standing in the air. Looking down at Li Dayan, he smiled slightly. In the next 9th stage palace, Lu Qing. The sound falls. He has condensed a fireball, distorted the air, and smashed towards Li Daoyan fiercely. It's the right time to eliminate demons and defend the way. The head of the law enforcement hall of Longxiang Temple tortured and shouted angrily. His aura is extremely terrifying, and the whole person is on the rampage. Like an ancient savage bull, billowing in smoke and dust, it wants to crush the earth and destroy mountains. Including the strict law on the city wall and the great master taught by Dianxiang. There was no delay at all, let's go directly. 4 beams of light are pointing straight towards Li Daoyan, a wolf doctor. Each ray of light carries an astonishing momentum, capable of destroying thousands of troops. 1/3 rotation Divine Palace Great Master, 2/2 rotation Divine Palace Great Masters, and 1 Foundation Establishment 9th stage. It's really not a small handwriting. Li Dayan whispered softly. 3 turns Divine Palace Great Master. This is the strongest group of people in the country of Yan. For example, Empress Dowager Bai Qingling. The only remaining general in the imperial court is Lu Yan. Zhenan Army Marshal, Xiao Bei. The leaders of the top schools in other states and so on. And now, Longxiang Temple actually wanted to deal with her. Send out a 3-rank Divine Palace Great Master directly. 0. She looked at the head of the law enforcement hall of Longxiang Temple, the most terrifying to torture. It's the 3-turn Divine Palace Great Master. If before, with a lineup like yours, I really want to run away. But now, she turned over and got off the horse, dragging the big knife in her hand. His eyes were still calm, and 3,000 blue hairs were flying with the wind. Boom! The ground beneath his feet exploded instantly. She ignored the torture. He also ignored Lu Qing, the 9th stage royal residence who was hanging high in the sky. Instead, he went directly to another high-level person in Longxiang Temple. Turn 2 Divine Palace Grandmaster Realms Arhat Hall's first strict law. The whole body turned into an astonishing afterimage. The big knife dragged behind him rubbed against the ground, and it was caused by the disappearing star. Arhat palm. Strict law has no fear. Seeing Li Dayan rushing forward, he raised his palm. Behind him, the phantom of an Arhat condensed from the true essence also raised its hand. Boom! Hit it with 1 palm. Arhat phantom also struck out with 1 palm. Palms overlap. The air was directly blasted, and the air flowed to the surroundings in mad pain. The ground cracked, and all the gravel jumped up to a certain extent around him. Then it was crushed into powder by a powerful force in the air. This is the appearance that he has already shot with all his strength. Too weak. Li Dayan spoke softly. Raise the big knife in your hand and cut it down. The blood chi vibrated behind him. The blood is ups and downs. Lamo stands in the city, controls the blood-colored thunder, and roars to the sky. The sky is clouded with blood. That momentum. Just like an unrivaled demon king. What a devil Dao girl. Today you will be beheaded and killed here, to eliminate harm for the world. Yan Fa shouted angrily. The robes are flying backwards. Wan Dao has more copies. He knew that he was no match for this devil Dao. But just a little bit of a block. Senior brother and the other 2 will be able to turn this demon girl into a siege. By the time, there is absolutely no way out for this witch. As for whether he can stop the opponent, there was no doubt in his mind. I am also a 2nd-turn Divine Palace realm. Can't beat the opponent. How could it be impossible to even stop the opponent a little bit? That was nothing short of a joke. 44%. Chapter 131 9 Heavens Royal Thunder. / Martial Dao Great Master. 3rd change. Boom. With the sword of thunder and lightning. Collided with the palm of the Arhat, the first Arhat Hall of Longxiang Temple, who was playing with all his strength. Use the strict law to 2nd turn the strength of the Divine Palace Great Master. The palm of the Arhat that was played. It directly formed a light golden, Vajra palm print. But it's like paper. It was chopped into pieces by the thunder sword. The big knife didn't stop at all. After breaking the Arhat palm print, continue to slash towards the strict law. How can it be? Yan Fa's pupils shrank tightly. He was horrified. One knife. With a single blow, he broke the Arhat palm that he had shot with all his strength. He has been immersed in this set of palm techniques for decades. He has already cultivated it to great completion, even if he is only one step away from return to origin. Cooperating with his strong and powerful Arhat True Yuan. And the true meaning of the third level of human level. The attack power is close to 450,000 caddies. How could it be so easy? It was cut to pieces by the opponent. This is horrible. The opponent's attack power far exceeds him. Arhat lifts up the sky. He roared. The rosary beads hanging around his neck exploded directly. A pair of fleshy palms seemed to have turned into pure gold. Once again, he blocked the big knife that had been cut in front of him. Boom! Sparks burst out. But the aftermath of March 4-7 swept across a radius of several feet, the ground cracked, and all the vegetation and stones were shaken into powder. Ah! Yan Fa screamed. Both hands were chopped off directly, the whole body was chopped off, and blood splattered everywhere. Ignored the strict law of being hacked and flew out. Li Daoyan's face was still calm. She turned around and went to kill the Divine Palace Great Master of Dianxiang sect. Overlord Sword Spirit, bring her an extremely astonishing increase. Based on her basic attack power, it is only at the level of 240,000 Jin. But it can exert a terrifying power of 740,000 Jin. Such a knife. Nature is far from being stopped by strict laws. Not any second turn Divine Palace Great Master can block it. Boom. Her speed is too fast. The function 100 steps of the Great Completion Realm made her seem like a gust of wind. Just for a moment, then he appeared in front of the Divine Palace Great Master of the Incense sect. Cut it off. Thunder grows and crackles. She looks like she's turned into a female Thor, trying to kill Nine Heaven's star with a knife. Hiss. Zhu Yao gasped, terrified. How can it be so strong? Follow the intelligence. Li Duyan shouldn't be this scary. With one blow, Yan Fa's old bald donkey was sent flying and seriously injured. This terrible strength, it simply made him feel that he was facing a 4-turn Divine Palace Great Master. Can't beat it, even if the 4 of them surrounded and killed them. Can't beat it either. This thought flashed through his mind. I really want to turn around and run away. But looking at the terrifying sword that had already been chopped off, no matter how many thoughts he had in his mind, he didn't dare to turn around and run away. Light incense and worship God. My God descends. He roared. Her black hair was flying. Her hands were like butterflies wearing flowers. Point out the 12 fingers in an instant. The power of the 12 fingers exudes blue light. Actually vaguely, outlined the phantom of a one-armed god, and hit the thunder sword that Li Daoyan slashed. In the void, there seemed to be strange whispers sounding. The whispers were terrifying. Any martial master who hears it will probably fall into madness and have his soul twisted. Even if the Divine Palace Great Master at 1 or 2 turns heard. It will also cause severe pain in the soul, which is unbearable. But it has no effect on Li Daoyan. Thousands of great suns were burning in her mind, and all the strange whispers of the pale golden divine general were burned away. Every bit. Nothing affects his soul. Bang. Thunder concussion. The vague phantom of the one-armed god was cut into pieces neatly. The big knife didn't hinder at all. Under Zhu Yao's horrified gaze, he was chopped off with a single knife, his stomach was rotten, and his large and small intestines fell out, dripping with blood. How daring. At this time, the first torture hall of the Law Enforcement Hall of Longxiang Temple has also rushed. He roared, and his whole body radiated golden light. Like a true glaring Vajra, beheaded with a saber in his hand. Cut off with one knife. As if to split the ground under your feet in two. Li Daoyan glanced at him. There was still no peace on the face. The body moves. Dodge the knife directly. True Qi vibrates, strides in the air, and kills the cultivator on the 9th floor of the Foundation establishment in the air. Escape. Lu Qing was already dumbfounded and frightened. Too strong. Slashed 2 rank 2 Divine Palace Great Masters who were no worse than him. He turned and stepped on the flying sword, about to run for his life. Can be indistinct. It was as if there was a dragon chant shaking the world. A surge of suppressive force made his body stop, and he almost fell directly from the air. And at this moment, Li Daoyan had no expression on her face. She had already arrived in front of her, and cut it off with a single blow. Rumble. On the knife. The blood-colored thunder was densely packed, and the blade light formed by a flash of electric light instantly chopped Lu Qing into the air. Even if he has a shield magical item all over him, it can't stop Li Daoyan's knife at all. Puff. He coughed up blood, his face was pale, and he hit the ground fiercely, setting off a large cloud of smoke and dust. Only you were left. Li Daoyan lowered her head in the air, overlooking the roaring and charging torture below. A stern look finally appeared in his eyes. At this moment, it began to rain lightly in the sky. Dark clouds surged, occasionally flashing one or two thunder and lightning. She held up the big knife in her hand. The black hair is flying like a goddess. 9. Sky. Royal. Thunder 1. She groaned softly. Exclamation mark, exclamation mark. Above 9 heavens, a bolt of thunder and lightning fell down immediately, directly hitting the big knife she held high. The terrifying thunder power condensed in the knife. Countless lightning densely packed, roaring crazily. On the broadsword, it directly formed a shocking blade light that was more than 8 feet long. That's a sword glow completely formed by thunder. Seen from a distance, it's like a goddess in charge of thunder, standing in the air, holding high the thunder and lightning. That scene, the soldiers of the Li family who were a little flustered not far away were stunned, with fanaticism in their eyes. And on the wall of Layan County, one counts as one, all of them are pale. Looking at this terrifying scene like a god descending into the world in fear. Yan Fa, Lu Qing, and Zhu Yao lying on the ground vomiting blood. I opened my mouth even more, I couldn't believe it. What are these martial arts? What kind of martial arts can actually control the thunder of heaven and earth? Even if it is an immortal spell, it is extremely difficult to control the thunder of heaven and earth. That is the power to destroy. With the power of destruction. Rushing upwards, the violent torture. The pupil shrank tightly, turning into the size of a pinhead. He felt a terrible danger. Danger enough to death. Don't care about anything. The true energy in his body was running crazily in a way that damaged his body. This is the secret martial arts of Longxiang Temple. Vajra Dragon Elephant, capable of incarnating as Vajra, with the power of a dragon and elephant. And the defense is also extremely terrifying. But it hurts the body. Do not use it lightly unless you have to. Boom. There seemed to be a Vajra roar coming from within him, the terrifying roar of the dragon elephant screaming. The whole body has turned into a pure golden color, and it has changed from the size of an ordinary person to a height of about 10 feet. Simply a giant. Cut. Li Daoyan has no waves in the ancient well, looking down at the punishment who turned into the master. Slash straight down with the big knife in your hand. The thunder was raging, and there was a pungent burning smell in the air. That's the smell of burning tiny stuff in the air. Roar of destructive power. Legion is 8 feet long and several meters wide. Instantly appeared in front of torture. 10,000 Buddha's dynasty. Torture and roar. The golden rays of light on both hands seemed to turn into a scorching sun, shining brightly. Frantically close from both sides to the middle. It seemed as if he wanted to clamp the extremely terrifying thunderbolt light between his palms. Boom. His palms touched the lightning blade. Moment. His complexion changed dramatically. A destructive force beyond imagination poured directly into his palms. Just a tenth of the time it takes to breathe. His Vajra-like palms immediately vaporized. Then there are the arms. No, he roared unwillingly. Actually is not because of the fall of On. But because the witch has not been removed, how can I die? And offended such a terrifying witch. They are afraid that a catastrophe will come to the Dragon Elephant Temple. But no matter how he resists, it can't resist this terrifying power of heaven and earth thunder. Boom. The sky with a radius of 8 feet has turned into a pool of purgatory thunder. Thunder surged. Li Daoyan stood outside the thunder pond. 3,000 blue hairs flutter in the wind, but her petite body is as tall as the sky and the earth. She looked down at Yan Fa, Lu Qing, and Zhu Yao. Draw the war bow from behind. Bow and knock an arrow. With one breath, shoot 3 long arrows. The 3 strong men who used to be aloof in the past were full of unwillingness and fear. Was easily shot to the ground. As for the 3-turned divine palace great master who was shrouded in lightning. Dash 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 dash. Already before, he was gasified by the thunder and completely disappeared between heaven and earth. Even if the soul, all were annihilated by this terrifying heaven and earth thunder. Father said, 2.2 will kill your souls. She whispered softly. At some point in his hand, a black jade bottle appeared. The jade bottle opened gently. There was an astonishing suction force coming from it. From the 3 corpses below, 3 souls were absorbed. Except for Lu Qing, the cultivator's soul on the 9th floor of the Foundation establishment, who was struggling crazily. The souls of the other 2 were muddled, and they didn't know how to resist. But obviously, Lu Qing is far inferior to the original Marquis of Jing'an. There is no escape from the soul at all. In a blink of an eye, the souls of the 3 people were collected by this top-rank magical item. This magical item, in fact, it was obtained from the storage bag of the Marquis of Jing'an. Specialized in collecting souls. You surrender or resist. Li Deyian's face is peaceful, true qi surges under her feet. She walked towards Layan County step by step, looked down, and spoke softly. The whole county, hundreds of thousands of people saw her. I also saw the terrifying scene of controlling thunder before. A large number of people knelt on the ground, their faces full of panic. On the walls, many soldiers also knelt down. We surrender. The county magistrate of Layan County, the captain, and the head of the Zheng family trembled, their faces pale and full of fear. 44%. Chapter 132. Follow me to destroy the Qingtian Gate. 4th more. And at the same time. In Yuling County, Li Zimo looked at the 4 figures that came out from 4 directions and surrounded him. His expression darkened. This is a town outside the city of Yuling County. In the morning, it was discovered that more than 6,000 people in this town had been massacred. The corpses were all over the ground, and blood flowed into a small river. Li Zimo was furious when he heard this. Come and check it out yourself. Result. Just arrived, haven't seen anything yet. In the 4 directions of the town, 4 astonishing auras rose up and charged directly. Blue Sky Gate. In order to lure me out of the city, you actually did this massacre. He stared coldly at the most imposing old man. This person was wearing a blue dress, his hair was tied up, and he was meticulous. There are cloud patterns on the edge of the sleeves, and there is also the logo of the first stage Blue Sky. That is the symbol of Qingtianmen. Some insignificant ants will die when they die. When we get rid of you, the evil heretic, they will be considered to have made contributions to my country of Yan. The old man didn't care, and smiled. He held a blue long sword in his hand. What an ant. It's a good one for the country of Yan. Li Zimo took a deep breath, but his heart was even more angry. Although he killed a lot. But he thinks that what is killed is not the enemy, but the person who should be killed. Even if the door is full of people. That is also the difference between each other's positions, and we have a clear conscience. But the Divine Palace Great Master of the Qingtian Gate in front of him. How could you be so understatement, so brazen? It seems. Under the sun. It is far more than just one Lingdao sect who treats the people of the world as straw people. But his heart also sank. 21st 1-3 turn Divine Palace Great Master. 2-second rotation Divine Palace Great Masters. A cultivator on the 9th floor of the Foundation establishment. Such strength. In the regular state, he didn't have much confidence in the confrontation. And it didn't rain either, so the trick, 9 Heavens Yule, couldn't be used. While the thoughts were spinning in my mind, he has no hesitation. Go straight to the left. There, it is the vast mountains, at his speed, as long as he enters the mountains. These few people can't catch up with him. Wait until you go back and grab your aunt and second uncle, and then go to Qingtianmen to take revenge. He has always been calm, not impulsive. Can simply solo kill the opponent in the future. Why do you have to work hard now? Want to escape? Do you think we slaughtered this town just to lure you out? The cultivator on the 9th floor of the Foundation establishment of Dianxiang sect chuckled lightly. He paused with his right foot. Suddenly, a large amount of blood in the town evaporated, and a formation appeared, covering Li Zimo. In the formation, a large amount of blood mist filled the air. Bloody arms stretched out one after another, grabbing Li Zimo fiercely. Cut. Li Zimo's face was calm, thunder surged on the big knife in his hand, and he cut it down directly. Boom. A thunderous sword light several feet long swept across. All the arms and blood mist in front of him were wiped out. This kind of evil magic method. The most restrained by thunder. See how much real yuan you have. Qi Xian sneered. How could the formation formed by massacring more than 6,000 people be broken so easily? He waved lightly. Magic power pours into the formation. Immediately more blood mist filled the air. More arms are grabbing at Li Zimo. Each arm almost has the power of 7th stage martial master. If a martial master falls inside, I'm afraid it will be torn to pieces in an instant. 2 great masters from Qingtian Gate and 1 great master under King Yecheng. Standing outside the formation, I watched it leisurely. Of course they don't expect this formation can kill Li Zimo. But it is also a great advantage to be able to consume a large amount of real energy from the opponent. It's unbelievable that at such a young age, Li Zimo's strength is as good as the sect master said. Look in the formation. With one slash, a large number of Li Zihei with bloody arms were shattered. Qingtianmen Du Shen exclaimed. Other side, not yet 20 years old. How can it be so scary? This body strength is much stronger than him. Almost comparable to the 3-turn Divine Palace Great Master. This Li family is the bloodline family. The bloodline family, it's hard to measure. The old man from Qingtianmen shook his head and said, his eyes narrowed. His eyes were full of murderous intent. Such a family. It shouldn't exist in their country of Yan. Want to come. Longxiang Temple should have succeeded. Here they go again. The Li family great master went to the 2nd out of 5. Only the old guy Li Yu, and brothers Li Daosu and Li Daolong remained. As for the terrifying golden retriever war ape, he didn't take it very seriously. Animals are animals. No matter how strong the strength is, it is still a beast. Destroyed the Li family. With the 4 kings together, we can attack the capital, abolish the demon queen and the young emperor, and establish a new king. My blue sky gate. Take advantage of this great opportunity to make further progress. He thought excitedly. To his realm, he has reached his limit, and there is no way to advance. If you want to break through the 3-turn Divine Palace, advance to the 4-turn Divine Palace. Some special energy is needed. For example, if they go one step further in the Qingtian Gate, they will be able to use a little bit of merit. The dynasty repairs luck. Sect repair merit karma. This is the orthodox road. Countless countries and sects have been pursuing it with all their hearts and minds, and they have been pursuing it from generation to generation. Boom. At this time, in formation, Li Zimo's black hair flew flying, and the thunderbolt above the big knife in his hand was terrifying. There seemed to be astonishing thunder in his eyes. Cut it down with a knife. In all directions, a series of knife wheels emerged, swept out, and tore everything apart. The knife wheel is full of dense thunder. The whole formation. It was directly cut in an instant. Blood City Mystic Demon 9th Stage Thunder Sword Mystery. Thunder Knife Wheel. Since you want to keep me, I'll kill you first, Li Zimo said coldly. The black hair instantly turned into silver and flew backwards. A faint silver light shone from his skin, and there were countless runes swimming on it. The inverted triangular eyes are cold and ruthless. Just a flash, appeared in front of the cultivator on the 9th floor of the foundation establishment of the Dianxiang sect at a much faster speed than before. The big knife in his hand was full of thunder. Slashing down with one knife, it is like a thunderbolt passing through the air. Rumble. A huge scorched black crack was torn open in the ground. Qi Xian's complexion changed drastically. The defensive magical item in front of him was directly shattered, and his whole body was chopped off. At this time, Li Zimo, who exhibited the spirit body of the celestial snake. His strength is not weaker than that of Ji Daoyan, who possesses the sword spirit body. Certainly, just Li Dayan in regular form. But also absolutely terrifying. He ignored Qi Xian, who flew out. The body flashed. With cold eyes, he has appeared in front of the Divine Palace Great Master, Du Shen, at the 2nd turn of Qingtian Gate. Upside down silver white pupils, without a trace of emotion. The temperature is dropping all around. Du Shen was shocked. He raised the long sword in his hand, and instantly cast the sect secret technique. Qingtian Sword Technique. A large number of sword shadows enveloped Li Zimo. But, bang bang bang, Li Zimo smashed down Wanfa with a single blow. What sword shadow, all shattered. Du Shen was even more miserable. Slashed from head to toe with a single knife, the corpse flew to both sides, splashed with blood. Li Zimo rushed between the corpses. The whole body is silver and white with bright red, which looks extremely strange. Damn, the old man of Qingtianmen was startled and furious. Don't even think about it. He turned and ran. He is very clear. The Li family turned into a silvery white form, and it couldn't last long at all. He didn't need to fight Li Zimo in this state at all. Just wait for Li Zimo's state to end. He kills again. Then beheading the opponent is naturally far easier than it is now. Li Zimo glanced at him coldly. Ignore it. He turned around and chased after the Divine Palace Great Master who was heading towards Yechung Palace. Half a day later, Li Zimo was covered in blood, with sword wounds all over his body, and stood up from the ground with difficulty. He glanced at the old man of Qingtianmen who was dying at his feet, and grinned. It hurts so much. He thought he was going to die. Before the end of the snake spirit body, he killed the Divine Palace Great Master of Yechung Palace. But the third-ranked Divine Palace Great Master of Qingtianmen waited until his celestial snake spirit body was finished before killing him. The power of the two is about the same. Even Li Zimo was a little weaker. 253. Crazy fighting. Very tragic. Pity. Not only the old man from Qingtianmen didn't expect it. Even Li Zimo himself didn't expect it. The Taizan Natural Divine Seal actually has a strong healing effect. While fighting, his injuries were recovering on the side. And the reply speed of True Qi is also extremely fast. That's all. He consumed the opponent to death. He could feel that the other party was extremely aggrieved. That strength is obviously stronger than his own, but in the end he was aggrieved by his own life and death. He sat down on the ground for a moment. Wait until the injury on your body recovers a little bit. He hurried to the town at once. Neither summoned subordinates. The corpses of several people were directly disposed of and the ashes were scattered. As for the soul, he has no ability. Really poor. The cultivator on the 9th floor of the foundation establishment doesn't even have the standard storage bag for cultivators. He shook his head, turned and left. The next day. Qinzhou State Capital, Li Hall, looking at the daughter with a calm face in front of him, and the eldest grandson who was still injured. There was a look of coldness in Li Yu's eyes. He really can't think of it. Longxiang Temple and Qingtian Gate. How could he directly attack and kill members of his Li family? As for Dian Xiangzhao and the 9th stage king and Yechung king who participated in it, he was not so surprised. Dian Xiangzhao has long had a grudge against him. King 9th stage and King Yechung may also regard him as the queen's henchman, just like King Pingnan. Naturally, I can't wait to kill him quickly. In the hall, Li Daosu, Li Daolong, and Li Zixing were also there, with anger on their faces. Daolong, Daoyan, Zixing. You three, follow me to destroy the Qingtian Gate. Li Yu stood up and ordered. He was expressionless, but there was a murderous intent surging in his heart. This time, he wants to let Yan within. No one dares to think anything wrong about his Li family. He wants to suppress everything with absolute terror. 45%. Chapter 133 Kill the Qingtian Gate. 5th More. Qingtian Gate. It is the strongest force in Tanzhou, one of the 3 states in the south of the Yangtze River. The whole of Danzhou, they are all under the influence of Qingtianmen. Even Yechung King who is also in Tanzhou. In terms of influence, it is far inferior to Qingtianmen. There are many disciples of Qingtianmen. They are officials all over Tanzhou. It can be said, in the land of Danzhou, Qingtianmen is the real Earth Emperor. Certainly, even if it is as strong as Qingtianmen. In the past, he did not dare to openly violate the will of the imperial court. After all, the court is too powerful. The generals on the left and right are 3-turn Divine Palace Great Masters. The left and right prime ministers are Qiming cultivators. Not counting places, it's just going to the hall. For the rest of the ministers, there are also 7 or 8 Divine Palace Great Masters, and 3 or 4 Foundation Establishment 5th floors. Among the major armies in the local area, there are also many strong ones. Among the royal family, there are also strong people who can't hide. Such a powerful strength, Qingtianmen naturally did not dare to make mistakes. Only now, the state of Yan is in chaos, and the princes of the clan want to be on the side of the Qing emperor and punish the demon queen. Sects and aristocratic families in various places also formed separate regimes. He is ambitious in Qingtianmen, so he is naturally unwilling to be behind. He directly joined the camp of King 9th Stage, King Yechung and others. We must work together to kill the demon queen, abolish the young emperor, and establish a new emperor. But at this time, in the Great Hall of Qingtian Gate, but it was depressed. The master of Qingtianmen, Du Xiao, sat on top with a gloomy expression. An elder with the same gloomy face sat on both sides. No one spoke. Throughout the Great Hall, you can hear a needle drop. Ahem. What's the matter? You actually called me, an old fellow. I don't know how long it will be. At the entrance of the Great Hall, there appeared a streak of gray hair, gray beard, and senile spots. Still hunched over, he looked like an old man who would be buried in the ground at any moment. The old man was wearing an old robe, and was holding a black sword casually. Master. Seeing the old man, the master of Qingtianmen, Du Xiao, quickly stood up and saluted respectfully. Meet the Supreme Elder. All the other elders also stood up and saluted respectfully. Everyone's eyes are full of awe. The reason why their Qingtian sect has the confidence is to participate in matters such as abolishing the young emperor and establishing the new emperor. It is because there is this Supreme Elder in front of the door. 4 turns Divine Palace Great Master. And also cultivated their Qingtianmen's secret technique, Qingtian sword technique, to the return to origin state. He even grasped the 4th level of the true meaning of Qingtian. A body of strength. In the entire Yan kingdom, it is the absolute peak. Few people can compare. At the same time, this is also one of the reasons why their Qingtianmen dared to be the local emperor in Tanzhou. Strength is confidence. And now I see the figure of the Taishang elder. The depression in their hearts was instantly swept away. What about the Li family? So what if you kill Yan Fei, the 3rd-ranked Divine Palace Great Master? As long as there is Taishang elder around, the Li family is nothing to be afraid of. Taishang elder. It is their Dinghai Shenzhen of Qingtianmen. Even the Li family has a 4-turn Divine Palace Great Master. They also believe it is certainly impossible to be the opponent of Taishang elder. Then, there is a 4-rotation Divine Palace Great Master in Baiyu Temple. Beheaded by the Supreme Elder himself. After that battle, the White Feather Temple shrinks, and its influence is only in Mengyang County. And this is why Baiyu watched. The reason why it could be directly destroyed by the Queen Mother Bai Qingling. Because as early as decades ago, the strongest people were beheaded by their Qingtianmen. There is such a Dinghai Shenzhen. What else are they worried about? Where's your senior brother? The old man glanced and frowned. Brother. Died. Du Xiao, the master of Qingtianmen, gritted his teeth. He has a very good relationship with Yan Fei. When he was initiating, Yan Fei took great care of him. And now, get along for decades. The other party died suddenly, and he was naturally grieved. Died. The old man opened his eyes suddenly, and his voice became cold. What happened? Clarify it to me. He clenched his hands tightly. Only then forcibly suppressed the grief and anger. He has many disciples, but there are only 2 talented people. They have all cultivated to the rank 3 Divine Palace Grand Master realm, and they hope to break through and be promoted to rank 4. He has successors from Qingtianmen. But now, one of the disciples died. Master, brother, he's going to. Du Xiao told the whole story. Throughout the Great Hall, his voice is the only one. The rest of the elders were silent. So, your senior brother was beaten to death by a little doll who was not yet 20. The old man frowned. He was also shocked. A little doll who is not even 20 years old. Can you kill your own disciple? He couldn't believe it. If these words hadn't come from Du Xiao, he would definitely have sneered at them. This kind of thing. How can it be? 20 years old. To become a martial master is considered an excellent talent. Become a Divine Palace Great Master. Don't say that Yan State has never appeared in history. That is the entire 6 Kingdoms region, except for the fearsomely powerful Lingdao sect. In other places, it has never appeared. Not to mention, can also kill the 3-turn Divine Palace Great Master. A practitioner who passed by saw it. The news is certain. Du Xiao said gloomily. Looks like a throwback bloodline practitioner. You said that the Li family has 5 great masters and an extremely powerful golden retriever war ape. The old man pondered. Right. Du Xiao nodded. He is not afraid of the golden retriever war ape. There are too many ways to deal with animals. He was only concerned about the news from Nan'an County. Li Deyan, who is called the female god of war by the local people, is a little worried. Although the rumors are exaggerated. What is connected to 9 heavens thunder, bathed in rich light? What kind of goddess descended to earth? What is it that cuts out 10 feet of lightning with a single knife, and directly vaporizes the eminent monks of Longxiang Temple? He didn't believe it at all. But you can do it yourself. Unharmed. So he executed the Longxiang Temple with severe punishments and strict laws, burning incense to teach Zhu Yao, and Lu Qing of the 9th stage Prince's Mansion. This strength is definitely at the level of the rank 4 Divine Palace Great Master. Don't worry. With this old bone of mine, it will be no problem to kill another 4-turn Divine Palace Great Master. The old man looked at the worried look on his disciple's face and said calmly. He has this confidence. 22 years ago, he will be able to kill the 4-turn Divine Palace Great Master of Baiyuguan. Today, he is stronger. There is no problem in beheading the rank 4 Divine Palace Great Master. The bloodline of the Li family. It seems unusual. It can't be said that it can be refined into a pill, which can help me break through and be promoted to rank 5. There was a touch of excitement in his heart, full of anticipation. He's been on 4th realm for way too long. From eager to be promoted to rank 5, to despair, but not reconciled, I don't know how many times I tried again. I was going to be completely desperate. For goodness sake. Send him another bloodline family. Let's go. Follow me to the state capital of Qinzhou, and destroy the Li family. He thought of this. I couldn't wait in my heart, so I ordered immediately. But at this moment, a cold and ruthless voice from the bottom of the mountain resounded in the entire Qingtian mountain like thunder. Roaring and shaking, people and animals are all shocked. Down the mountain, with her hands behind her back, Li Yu looked at the majestic and verdant Qingtian mountain with a blank expression on her face. Suddenly shouted, The elders of the Qingtianmen, all get out and die. Dare to intercept and kill my daughter and grandson, and I will completely remove you from Qingtianmen today. Rumble. Under the shock of the majestic and terrifying true qi. The sound was really like thunder exploding in the air, extremely terrifying. Behind him, the corner of Li Daolong's mouth curled into a smile without the slightest warmth. Li Daoyan's face was calm, but there was a turbulent and terrifying murderous intent in her eyes. Li Zixing has a calm expression, a straight body, and sharp eyes. Reach out and draw the spine from the back as a bow. Ha ha ha, I was going to kill you, but I didn't expect you to come to my door by yourself. Heaven has a way, if you don't go, the underworld has no way to break in by itself. The faint and old laughter came down from the top of the mountain. A figure with fluttering sleeves, white beard and white hair, and age spots on his face. But the aura on his body was extremely terrifying, and his true energy was mighty, condensing into an ocean behind his back. In the ocean, there seems to be a green mountain faintly. Du Xiao and 4 elders from the Divine Palace Grand Master realm followed behind, looking at Li Yu and the others with murderous intent. On the top of the mountain, on the mountainside, a large number of Qingtianmen disciples walked out excitedly, watching the Supreme Elder, Tuluo, enthusiastically. Is this the legendary Taishang Elder? They're Qingtianmen's Dinghai Shenzhen. This momentum is too strong. With such a distance, I feel suffocated. Where did the thief come from? How dare you kill our Qingtian gate? Looking at the momentum, there is the Divine Palace Great Master, but in front of the Taishang Elder and the Sect Master Good Money, Good and others, they are nothing more than chickens and dogs. Today, my brothers and sisters are fortunate enough to witness the death of the Divine Palace Great Master. I think it is more fortunate to witness Taishang Elder's shot. A large number of Qingtianmen disciples were discussing excitedly. Most of them don't have the slightest worry. They don't know either. 2 Divine Palace Great Masters from their Qingtian gate have fallen. This kind of thing, even the true disciples of Qingtianmen are not qualified to know. So, they saw that the Supreme Elder had appeared, so why would they worry about the Divine Palace Great Master coming to kill them? There are only a few sensitive ones. Something feels wrong. If the opponent is not strong, how did Taishang Elder go out? Even if it happened to be out, why would the Elder need to do it himself? Enemies that can be dealt with by the Supreme Elder himself. Certainly not simple. Certainly, it's also impossible for them to think that the Elder will lose. After all, it was more than 20 years ago, and he killed the rank 4 Divine Palace Great Master. Taishang Elder, who is known as the strongest in the 3 states in the south of the Yangtze River. Heaven has no way to go, the underworld has no way to break in and eat. Li Yu looked indifferently at the old man Tuluo headed by Qingtianmen, and said indifferently. Is it up to you? 45%. Chapter 134 Instant Kill 4 Turns Great Master. Kill the door. First update. Young juniors, so arrogant, don't know how to be in awe. It's a terrible death. The old man Tuluo stood on the top of a big tree, with his hands behind his back, overlooking Li Yu, and sneered. The ancient robes fluttered in the wind, and the white hair was flying. And at this time, there is no more hunching, the body is straight, and the momentum is like the sea. It can't be seen at all that this is a practitioner whose lifespan is running out. On the contrary, it makes people feel. This is a great master who is in his prime and full of vitality. Behind him, Du Xiao, the master of the Qingtianmen, and the others were in a state of excitement. Taishang Elder's power remains the same as before. They looked at Li Yu and the others coldly, as if they had already seen the scene where several people were directly beheaded by the Supreme Elder. On the mountainside, a large number of disciples from Qingtianmen are even more excited. Too high, the elder is too strong. This majestic and terrifying momentum can simply suppress all enemies in the world. It seems that inside the Qingtianmen, you are the strongest. Li Yu's complexion did not change at all. She looked at the picture and fell. He stepped out suddenly. Take this step. His body seemed to teleport. Suddenly appeared on the top of the elder figure. Step down with your right foot. There is nothing true chi flourishing. There is no blood like a dragon. There is no vision. It looks just like an ordinary kick. But an indescribably terrifying pressure was instantly suppressed. As if the void below. It's all solidified into one iron plate. Below, Taishang Elder Tuluo's eyes widened. His pupils contracted violently, showing a look of horror. This moment, he felt that his own scalp was going to be numb to the point of exploding. I also felt that the hairs all over my body stood on end. Danger. The danger of death. He wants to escape. But the void around him firmly suppressed him in place. Even with the power of his 4-turn Divine Palace Great Master, a 1-3 Qingtian sword technique returned to origin, the 4th level of Qingtian's true meaning. Can't move at all. How powerful is this? His face was full of fear, and his liver was about to burst. Too strong. Far beyond his imagination. This is not the power of the Divine Palace realm. How could you mess with such an invincible existence? He wants to open his mouth. But his voice can't come out at all. Everything. They were all suppressed by that terrifying force. Boom. Li Yu stepped down with his right foot. The entire body of Elder Tuluo, the Grand Master of the Qingtian Gate, exploded directly. Blood mist filled the sky. Silence. Deathly silence. The excitement on the faces of the Master of Qingtianmen, Elder, and disciples came to an abrupt end. They stared blankly. Is that Taishang Elder? 2.2 Elder dead, was trampled to death by. Time in the whole world seemed to slow down suddenly. All the people of Qingtianmen. They all felt that the scene in front of them was too absurd. Just dreaming. It is impossible for such a bizarre thing to happen. The almost invincible Taishang Elder is dead. Taishang, who is like a magic needle, is the Elder dead. 22 years ago, the Taishang Elder who overwhelmed by Yuguan was dead. Is the Taishang Elder, the strongest in the 3 southern states, dead? The scene in front of me. Why is it so dreamy? The whole world seemed suddenly unreal. No, impossible. The master of the Qingtianmen staggered back, covering his chest with his hands, his face pale. The rest of the elders. One counts as one. None of them had a trace of blood, and their eyes were full of disbelief and panic. Even, several elders fell to the ground, their bodies trembling. CBAB, starting today, Qingtianmen will be removed. Li Yu said calmly with a blank face. He looked at the master of Qingtianmen, Elder and others. Wave lightly. Immediately, special flying daggers flew out of the storage bag. Turned into a bolt of lightning. Directly at several times the speed of sound, with terrifying and ferocious force. Directly penetrate these Divine Palace Great Masters and 8 9th Stage Martial Masters, and the corpses fly. Even if it is the Master of Qingtianmen, the 3rd-ranked Divine Palace Great Master. Can't stop a little flying daggers. Today's Li Yu. The strength is too strong. Previously, I fused the bad sword spirit body with my daughter Li Deyin. It was exactly as he expected. The tyrant sword spirit also fed back to him. Even if it is not considered as the spirit body of Tyrant Saber or the spirit body of Heavenly Snake. Not counting Thunder Demon's true intentions, not counting combat martial arts. The attack power of his shots has also reached a terrifying attack of more than 1.6 million caddies. Such a terrifying power. Shoot flying daggers. Not to mention the 3-turn Divine Palace Great Master, but the 4-turn and 5-turn Divine Palace Great Master. Absolutely can't stop it. Ha ha ha. W. Today, the Qingtian Gate will be removed. The one who kneels down will not die, but the one who resists in the corner. All beheaded and killed. Li Daolong laughed loudly, and his whole body shot up into the sky, heading towards Qingtianmen to kill. But at a faster speed than him, he rushed to the Qingtian Gate. It was Li Daoyan who didn't talk too much. The complexion is calm and gentle, like a lady from all over the world. But holding a big knife upside down makes people feel fear from the bottom of their hearts. Li Zixing didn't speak either. Following behind his father, his eyes were steady and wide open. People haven't arrived yet. One after another blood-colored long arrows have already traversed the sky. Shoot and kill a protector and deacon of Qingtianmen. Blood stained the ground red. The screams are terrifying. For a moment, the sluggish Qingtianmen disciples woke up with a start. Looking at the body of the dorm master, elder. All of them were pale and full of fear. Few dared to resist at all. Most of the disciples turned around and fled, not caring about anything, and frantically fled to the back mountain. They all know, only the back hill. There is a way of life. Certainly, there were also some disciples who had completely collapsed and knelt on the ground, trembling. What? The Qingtian Gate was destroyed by the Li family. Get off at Linjiang Pass. King Yecheng was shocked and stood up suddenly, not daring to say anything. Not just him. Inside this military tent, one counts as one. 9th Stage King, Sanlu King, Northwest King, Qizhonghu, Renyo. Wait for a total of 15 princes. Everyone stood up in shock, their scalps numb. Qingtian Gate. This is the overlord of Tanzhou. Even within the 8 states of Yan State. Except for the imperial court. They are all top 3 top forces. The picture of the elder on the Qingtian Gate. He is also known as the number 1 powerhouse in the south of the Yangtze River. These princes, in terms of status, they are not as good as others. If they come to see them in vain, they probably won't see them. But now, there is such a terrifying powerhouse sitting in the Qingtian Gate. But it was trampled out by the Li family. The hairs all over their bodies stood up, and their hearts felt cold. Especially Yecheng King and 9th Stage King. His face was pale and full of anxiety. They all sent people, go to the other party's Li family. Now the terrifying Qingtian Gate is completely destroyed. Obviously this is the Li family's revenge. Will the Li family let them go? They don't believe it themselves. Everyone, the palace has withdrawn from the matter of killing the demon queen this time. The 9th Stage King became more and more uneasy as he thought about it. He hurriedly said something to the people in the military tent, and left in a hurry. He wants to lead the army back immediately. With the might of an army. At least let the Li family be afraid, and then pay for the compensation. My Yecheng prince's mansion is also withdrawing. King Yecheng also left in a hurry. The remaining 13 princes, you look at me, I look at you. The Qingtian Gate is destroyed. Shanzhou, one of the 2 states in Zhongbei. It is rooted in the He family hall that has been here for more than 400 years. The patriarch of the He family gasped, crushing the teacup in his hand. As the strongest force in Shanzhou, their He family has always been low-key and friendly to others. But also know the strength of Qingtianmen. They are not weaker than their He family, and even stronger than them. But now, suddenly, such a powerful Qingtian Gate was trampled out. It really frightened him. The Li family in Qinzhou. It's so scary, he murmured in shock. Brother host, do you really want to withdraw? Outside the state capital of Yuezhou. In the depths of Longxiang Temple, several old monks spoke unwillingly. In front of them was an old monk with low eyebrows, kneeling in front of the Buddha statue, reciting Buddhist scriptures. Amitabha, the demons of the Li family are powerful, and if I don't retreat, I will feed the demons with my body. The old man is not afraid, but the disciples in the temple are too innocent. After a while, the old monk with low brows turned around and sighed. It never occurred to him. The Li family was so terrifying. The Qingtian Gate was directly trampled out. Can imagine. It won't be long. The devil of the Li family will definitely come to Longxiang Temple to kill them. Several old monks looked at each other, clasped their hands together, tears in their eyes. It's a pity that I can't wait for the cultivation base to get rid of the big devil for the common people in the world. From now on, the common people are going to be under that devil, it's hard to beg. That night, thousands of monks from Longxiang Temple fled south in a hurry. They dare not Beishan, can only flee to the south, over the mountains. Directly enter the country of Liao, which is quite at odds with the country of Yan. Liao Guo will also send troops. Come and meet them. 3 days later, all the places in the whole country of Yan got the news. Li Yu, the patriarch of the Li family, stepped on the Qingtian Gate. King 9th Stage and King Yecheng were so frightened that they withdrew from the coalition of princes. Longxiang Temple escaped overnight. The country of Yan is terrified. Many forces stared at the Li family in Tanzhou in horror. But at this time, Li Yu is not in Qinzhou. He took Li Daolong, Li Daoyan, and Li Zixing with him. All the way to the south, they are chasing everyone in Longxi. Assassinate my daughter and grandson, and still want to escape. It's wishful thinking. Without killing you all. How to deter many unruly forces. Li Yu stepped on the back of the sky snake, expressionless. The three of them, Li Daoyan, also stepped on the back of the sky snake. At this time, under the cultivation of sufficient spiritual coins, the sky snake has already grown up and reached the divine palace realm. And it's the second turn of the divine palace realm. This remnant from the ancient bloodline is astonishingly powerful. Serpentis is even more talented. A pair of silver wings grew out of its back, allowing it to fly in the sky. This is where the name Serpentis comes from. Rumble. Like a flash of lightning, the heavenly snake brought Li Yu and the others across the sky across the vast mountains. 45%. Chapter 135 Chasing thousands of miles, destroying Longxiang Temple. Second more. Sky Serpent's royal flight. This is talent, just like birds fly. It only needs to consume a little stamina, not demon power. The beasts have arrived in the divine palace realm. They could actually be called demonic beasts. Monster power will be born in their bodies, and they will no longer just rely on blood and flesh to fight. Certainly, ordinary demonic beasts don't know any advanced martial arts or spells even if they have demon powers. Only the most basic increase can be performed. Unlike the golden retriever war ape, he practiced the Baoshan seal. Sweeping with monster power, Wan Cheng. And the Serpentis. Not suitable for practicing fist technique. But it is very suitable for practicing saber technique. The silver wings on the back are as thin as a cicada's wings, the edges are extremely sharp. It can be used as two big knives. So, this was named, Little Silver, of the Serpentis. The one who cultivates as the 9th stage thunder knife of the Blood City mystic demon. But now it has just reached the 1st stage, and its power is not strong. But it is also much stronger than ordinary demonic beasts who don't understand anything. Qing Tianmin is indeed the emperor of Tanzhou, one of the most powerful forces in Yan Kingdom. 4 heavenly origin high-rank meat fields, 7 heavenly origin mid-rank meat fields, and 19 heavenly origin primary level meat fields. There are 62 ordinary meat fields. This is much richer than Baiyuguan. Li Yu whispered in her heart. To this, he is still quite satisfied. Although this time, it is to avenge her daughter and grandson, and it also has the intention of deterring Yan and its surrounding neighbors. But a lot of resources are available. Nature is also a good thing. Nowadays, his Li family has a lot of meat fields. There are 2 low-level meat fields in the Divine Palace. Heavenly Origin High-Rank Meat Field 7. Heavenly Origin Mid-Rank Meat Field 15. There are 63 low-level meat fields in Heavenly Origin. There are 264 ordinary meat fields. Naturally, it includes sweeping up all the counties in Qinzhou, and gathering the meat fields gathered from the prefectures and county government offices. From now on, officials, city defense forces, police officers and other personnel from all over Qinzhou. The meat of exotic animals will no longer be distributed, and only taels of silver will be distributed as salaries. Need exotic meat? With your identity, you can go to the Dao Child Chamber of Commerce to buy it yourself. Dao Child Chamber of Commerce. It was the Chamber of Commerce that Li Daolong started to run when he was in Beiyin County. Take the name of the 2nd and 3rd generations of the Li family. So 1. It can maximize the integration of a state's resources. In the past, meat farms were in the hands of the prefect and the county government. How to use. It is completely under the control of the county guard and county magistrate. It can be said, none of these county guards and county magistrates did not embezzle a large amount of exotic animal meat. There are even those who directly embezzle meat fields. In this world, meat fields are one of the most important resources. A family controls an ordinary meat field. After a few years or more, a practitioner above the body refining 7th stage or even a martial master will be born. Rumble. Heavenly serpent crosses the sky. In the mountains below, strange beasts roared occasionally. But feeling the aura belonging to the heavenly snake, most of them were terrified and avoided in panic. But, demonic beasts from the divine palace realm also appeared, roaring at the serpent without fear. As if to warn the sky snakes, this is their territory, and no other demonic beasts are allowed to set foot. Among these vast mountains, there are quite a few demonic beasts. Li Deyin said softly. From the Howling Moon Mountains they entered the southern mountains. All the way through the mountains and ridges, spanning thousands of miles. Encountered more than 10 demonic beasts. If this is released, it will be a dozen great masters. It's a pity that there are no high-grade alien species, or they will all be caught. There will be an extra batch of Divine Palace meat fields. Li Yu felt a little regretful. ordinary variants or low-grade variants, which can only devour body-refining variants. Mid-tier xenomorphs can devour heavenly origin xenomorphs. Only top-grade alien species can devour demonic beasts in the Divine Palace environment. He has low-grade variants and mid-grade variants in his hands. They all come from the government office. He already knows. The origin of the alien species is very strange. It grows out of the ground. Maybe somewhere, a strange species will suddenly grow. Every year, there will be some heterogeneous species growing in various parts of Yan Kingdom. But it seems that no top-grade alien species has ever grown. More than half an hour passed again. Yao Yao has already seen a large group of monks running in the mountains and forests in the distance. Here, it already belongs to the border mountains of Yan State and Liao State. Over this mountain range, it is the land of Liao State. Catch up. Li Yu was expressionless. Rumble. Sky Snake Little Silver let out a roar of excitement. The speed was a little faster, and he chased after the group of monks in the sky. The devil is catching up. The abbot of Longxiang Temple sighed bitterly, with a look of distress on his face. It never occurred to him. The opponent actually has a heavenly serpent from Divine Palace realm. Otherwise, it is absolutely impossible to catch up with them so quickly. He looked ahead. This place should be less than 30 miles away from Liao country. But the devil is close at hand. Senior host, I'm going to stop the devil. Yan Zhen, head of the Prajna Hall, looked cold and solemn, holding an arhat stick, and said in a deep voice. His scalp is shiny and his body is burly. The devil is fierce, you can't stop it until you turn realm 2 times. Yan Yan shook his head. He looked at an old monk beside him, and saluted with palms together. Uncle, I want you to take action this time. It was an old monk with very long eyebrows and snow white. Wearing a gray monk robe, his face is peaceful. In the old days, this old monk was sweeping the floor of the Sutra Pavilion of Longxiang Temple. Basically, few disciples are clear about it. This one. He is the strongest in Longxiang Temple. Amitabha. I don't enter the underworld, who enters the underworld? The old monk clasped his hands together and saluted Yan Quan. Then, he turned around and looked at the sky snake approaching rapidly in the distance, and Li Yu and the others on the back of the sky snake. Eyes opened suddenly, like an angry Vajra, and shouted. Buddha's light shines everywhere. Boom. His whole body exudes an astonishing light in an instant. The light is bright, rising straight into the sky, facing Ji Yu and the others. From a distance, it's like a round of scorching sun, mighty and mighty, wanting to destroy everything in front of you. Li Yu watched indifferently. He gently raised his right hand and made a fist mark. Punch out. A phantom of a huge mountain peak of 7 or 8 feet was shot out. Rumble. The airflow exploded, roaring like thunder. With an invincible posture, he slammed into the rushing old monk. Master Uncle makes a move. I think it can stop that devil for a while. Yan Ku ran forward with the monks in the temple. While looking back, his face became more sad. Master, 4 turns to Divine Palace realm. Dharma is profound, so it can naturally stop the devil. Yan Zhen, the head of the Prajna Hall, said in a deep voice. But both of them understood. With that devil's terrifying power to destroy the Qingtianmen, Uncle Shi certainly won't be able to stop him for too long. But fortunately, it will soon enter the Liao country area. There is already Liao Guo's army over there. No matter how fierce the devil is. Even thinking about it, I would never dare to be an enemy of a country. The other old monks around also nodded in agreement. Asking for flowers. But, their expressions suddenly changed drastically, and their eyeballs seemed to protrude. Looking at the lifelike mountain peak punched out by the devil in horror. Even if it's tens of miles away. They also felt the creeps. Boom. There was a loud bang. The strong uncle in their eyes. Just like a moth flying into a flame, he was directly hit by the phantom of the mountain peak. The whole person instantly shattered into blood mist. This scene, let the dead souls of all the high-level officials of the Dragon Elephant Temple panic, and their hearts are full of fear. Horrible. Uncle Shi turned 4 times to Divine Palace Great Master. It is already one of the top existences in Yan Kingdom. But he was punched to death. He didn't even stop the devil's breath for a while. It's over. Sighing bitterly, showing a look of despair. Ahead, Liao Guo direction. A group of people are moving rapidly. Among them, there are 4 Divine Palace Great Masters. The leader, it is a 4-turn Divine Palace Great Master. It is Liao Guoping, the commander of the northern army of Liao Guoping, who has been confronting the southern army of Yan Guzhun for many years, Shui Yi. The outside world is rumored that the two major army marshals are only 3 ranks of Divine Palace Great Master. Actually, all 4 turn Divine Palace Great Master. Otherwise, nor can it guard the borders of a country. Is that the Serpentis? Is there someone on it? It seems that this is the rumored ancestor of the Li family. The Li family is here, everyone in Longxiang Temple should be right in front of us. Shui Yi's face was serious, and he spoke. It's said that the Li family destroyed the Qingtian Gate, in my opinion. I'm afraid it's Tuluo from the Qingtianmen, who has died of old age. Otherwise, with that old guy in Tuluo, who can destroy Qingtianmen? A middle-aged general next to him spoke. Shui Yi nodded. He also agrees with this. Even if it is not dead. The old guy who fell in the picture may have lost a lot of strength. If you want me to say that this dragon elephant temple is too timid. The Li family didn't destroy the Qingtian Gate, but scared them into seeking our protection. Another Divine Palace general sneered, somewhat looking down on him. In fact, Longxiang Temple and Qingtianmen have joined forces before and have dealt with each other. Very clear. The Supreme Elder Tuluo of Qingtianmen is still powerful. But the Qingtian Gate has already been destroyed by the Li family. How could they not be afraid? Stop talking nonsense. In front of the masters of Longxiang Temple, you must not be rude. Shui Yi scolded. Someone in Longxiang Temple killed the past. Looks amazing. Someone exclaimed. It's Yuan Xing, the previous generation of Longxiang Temple. 4-turn Divine Palace Great Master. The strength is not weaker than me. Shui Yi was startled and stared intently. He wanted to see it. Then how tyrannical the Li family is. But the next moment, his eyes widened directly, full of horror, as if he had seen a ghost. That vivid mountain peak. The old monk Yuan Xing who was smashed into blood missed by that blow. It made his scalp numb, as if it was about to split open. The old monk Yuanxing of Longxiang Temple at the same level as Yutong. He was beaten to death by the ancestors of the Li family after a face-to-face meeting. A wave of fear welled up in him. Too strong. Unrivaled power. This is definitely a Divine Palace Great Master above rank 7. Stop. Go home immediately. He shuddered and paled as he ordered. 46%. Chapter 136. One man overwhelms the kingdom of Yan. Third change. On the sky. Li Yu just casually glanced a dozen miles away. The Liao soldiers who turned around and fled ignored him. Standing on the top of the sky snake, he wore a long robe, overlooking the fearful monks of Longxiang Temple below. The sky snake spit out snake letters, and its silver-white inverted triangular eyes were cold and ruthless. Killed, he ordered calmly, as his voice fell. Without saying a word, Li Daoyan jumped off the sky snake. Still in the air, there was already a terrifying thunder and lightning flashing with the big knife in her hand. 3,000 blue hairs are flying. His eyes are cold. An astonishing dominance emanates from her, suppressing the world. Assassinate me, little sister. Death to all. Li Daolong shouted angrily, and also jumped off the sky snake. He made fist marks with both hands. It's like holding a mountain in your arms and falling from the sky. Majestic and terrifying. As for Li Zixing, he stood behind the sky snake, holding his bow and arrow. Li Yu glanced at the several Divine Palace Great Masters in Longxiang Temple. Gently waved his sleeves. A handful of flying daggers shot out, bringing up drops of blood. Only half an hour. None of the more than 2,000 monks in Longxiang Temple escaped, and all died in the mountains and forests. The 10-sun earth demon arrow is too terrifying. No matter where these monks fled, there will always be a bloody long arrow coming and shooting them to death. Based on the attainments of Li Zixing and others, Taizan was born with divine chapters. Shoot the martial master and body refining practitioner of 580. There is simply not much true chi wasted. One side shoots out, the other side has recovered. Can shoot continuously. Blood all over the floor. Dead bodies all over the place. The demonic beasts seen from a distance at both ends were frightened and fled into the distance. Standing among the corpses, Li Daoyan wore a 3,000 blue silk shawl with a calm expression. Although the feet are full of blood and corpses. But she stands in it. On the contrary, it has a kind of temperament that comes out of the mud but not stained. Quiet and natural, peaceful and soft. Put it in the city, and you can't tell the difference from those ladies. She bent over, pick up the boxes one by one and put them into storage bags. Family of 3 storage bags. One for Li Yu, one for Li Dusu, and one for Li Diyin. In these boxes, contains precious resources that are easy to carry. such as meat fields, such as panacea, elixir, spiritual materials, martial arts cheats, and so on. Soon, the battlefield is cleaned up. The corpses were piled together. Li Diyin took out the soul-destroying bottle and shook it gently. All of a sudden, there were corpses. A series of confused souls were collected. A big fire. The body turned to ashes. The mountain wind swept through. The ashes were scattered and disappeared. The high-level and elite disciples of the entire Longxiang temple. It's all over. Li Yu watched all this indifferently. There is not much emotion in my heart. Come into this world. You need to obey the laws of this world. And the weak are prey to the strong. It is one of the most basic rules. Longxiang temple besieged and killed his daughter, but failed. Then live the consequences. As for so many monks, many of them seem innocent. That has nothing to do with him. Since he is a disciple of Longxiang temple. Then Naung Elephant did something wrong. As a part of them, they naturally have to bear the burden together. Walk, Li Yu said lightly. Several people jumped on the back of the snake. The sky snake turned into a silver lightning and went back to the country of Yan. There is also King Yecheng, the 9th stage King Dot, and the Dianxiangjiao. Li Yu was expressionless. Since you want to shock the world, then naturally all the forces involved in this matter will be involved. All cut flat. North State. This is a state next to Yan State and Hu State in the north. Now, on the border of Beizhou, wars are everywhere. Ever since Ren Baichuan destroyed a checkpoint in Yan Kingdom, an army from the state of Hu went south and occupied the 3 cities of the state of Yan. The northern army of Yan State started to move. In North State, the northern army is a giant. This is the army that has guarded the northern border of Yan State for generations. Commander Yu Wu used his troops like a god, and his strength was isolated. Under his command, although the 3 cities were not recaptured, but it also stopped Hu Guo from going south. There is even a rhythm of trapping Hu's southward army to death. However, there are still a large number of refugees fleeing from the north in ragged clothes. There are corpses everywhere along the way, and the skinny wild dogs with green eyes are scary. Following the destruction of Qingtianmen, the monks of Longxiang Temple were also wiped out in the Laoyan Mountains by the Li family. Bailing County. Yu Wu put down the information in his hand, his face was solemn. And he also got the news. Liao Guoping Shui Yi, commander of the Northern Army, was going to meet the people of Longxiang Temple. But they didn't even meet face to face. He was so frightened that he fled back to Liao State in a panic. Shui Yi, but the famous general of the 6 nations who is as famous as him. The result was so horrifying. From this you can imagine. The members of the Li family are so powerful. How could the Queen Mother subdue such a terrifying Li family? This state of Yan has been in existence for more than 200 years, and I'm afraid it is about to end. He whispered to himself, his eyes flickering. Think about it. He summoned the old butler who had followed him for decades to give orders. The old butler looked surprised at first, then nodded solemnly. Don't take me, don't take me. Things like this don't take me. On the left side of the state capital of Qinzhou, within Qin Mountain, Li Zihan sat beside a stream, pouted and threw stones. In the valley behind her, the house is like a house, and a large number of practitioners live and practice in it. Add up to no less than 500. It is a part of the manpower assigned from the elite training camp. Most of them are thoughtful practitioners. This is also a dark part created by Li Yu. Where there is light, there is darkness. With his outbreak this time, the identity of Yinsheng Patriarch is useless. High-level officials of some forces should be able to guess. Wusheng Patriarch was made by his Li family. So, he simply drew some of his staff from the elite training camp. Specialized in 2 special martial arts. Hide and hide law. A close call. Hide and hide method is a special martial art to hide aura. After practicing, one's own sense of existence will be reduced, making people ignore it unknowingly. It is a special martial art of heavenly rank top grade, and it is extremely precious. The 1000 Night Shot Ju is a special martial art that explodes in strength. It is also the top grade of heavenly rank. Exercising this martial art can increase the attack power of the next attack on the flesh body and true chi by 50%. But only one hit. Anbu. Li Yu is an organization prepared to integrate intelligence, assassination, and investigation. He named it Jin Yiwei. Jin Yiwei now has 500 people. Led by Li Daolong. As for Li Zihan, well, it's just that I was bored before and came here to be a teacher. The method of concealment and concealment, the tactic of a close call. Everyone in the Li family has also learned. And these two martial arts are very hardworking and conscientious. It is quite similar to the Balian breathing method and Xuantian 9 reforms back then. Diligent every day and night. Definitely a model worker in the cultivation technique world. So, almost 2 months now, Li Zihan's attainments in these two martial arts have also reached a small realm. It is more than enough to teach these Jinyue members. You still have to teach for 15 days before you can go back. Li Zihan kicked the water listlessly, with a sad face. She came here for it. But I promised my grandfather that I will definitely teach for a full month. Although she is playful, but he kept his word. If you say that the family is full of people, you will definitely let other people's families get together. 2 days later, Li Yu came to Yecheng, Tanzhou. Destroy Yecheng Palace. A day later, the celestial snake appeared in the capital of Hangzhou. It is easy to step on the 9th stage palace and walk away. The news is out. The entire Yan kingdom seemed to have set off a 9th level gust of wind. All the forces felt their scalps tingling and their hearts terrified. Too strong. Destroy the Qingtian Gate. Chase thousands of miles away and destroy Longxiang Temple. Destroy Yecheng Palace and 9th Stage Palace. 2 top powers, 2 princes. It just disappeared in smoke. Especially the destruction of Qingtianmen and Longxiang Temple. To scare many people, that is the top sect in Yan country. They are all one-state Xians. But in front of the Li family, they were all crushed like paper. Even the court of Yan kingdom. All lost their voices. Those ministers who were majestic in the past. All of them were pale and their brows were deeply furrowed. Too strong. This kind of strength made everyone's hearts feel heavy as if a boulder had been crushed. It can be said that at this moment, all forces in the entire Yan kingdom. They all felt that a huge mountain had risen above their heads. The giant mountain stretched across the sky, pressing all of them under it, and they couldn't breathe. And at this time, over the North State, streams of light flashed across, undisguised, with a terrifying aura. In every aura, they are all cultivators of Qiming realm. The leader is an old man. The old man was wearing a gorgeous black robe and a crown, with a thin face. His eyes were indifferent, as if he didn't care about everything. Behind him are 4 disciples in total. 2 men and 2 women. The face doesn't look too big, at most it is the time when the youth turns into the middle age. Master, in this little country of Yan, is there really a straw man who can kill senior brother Ren? A female disciple spoke up. Even in the rapid flight, her voice was not scattered at all. 2.4 inches. Do you think that you are invincible in these 6 countries? Although to me, I am no expert, but to you, there is still a threat. The old man said lightly. Master, why didn't sect kill all those threats? Another male disciple frowned. Those ones. It's just a stepping stone for you. Could it be that you want to be flowers in the greenhouse? Also, don't you use higher grade materials to refine magical items? The old man's voice did not fluctuate. Indeed. These straw people have practiced for many years before I waited for realm, and they have rich experience. It can be used as a sparring partner, and it can also be used as a material for refining magical items. 5 years ago, in order to refine the soul gathering banner, I killed less than half of the Qiming cultivator and great master in the snow country, and also beheaded the grass man of Liucheng. The second male disciple spoke up with a self-recovering smile on the corner of his mouth. The rest of the people nodded, a little stunned. It turned out to be the reason. Half a day later. Qinzhou state capital is already in sight. Destroy the Li family first. Then you all use the straw man in this city to refine the Devil Dao magical item in your hand. The old man said casually. Obviously he was used to this kind of thing and didn't care at all. Yes, master. 2 men and 2 women nodded. Looking at the state capital in front of him is like looking at an ant's nest on the ground, without a trace of emotion in his eyes. 46%. Chapter 137. Disciple of Lingdao sect, look down on Qinzhou. 4th more. Soon, 5 streamers entered the state capital of Qinzhou. No pretense. Hover directly over the state capital. A male disciple flew out with an indifferent expression, high above him, looking down on the grass man below like a god. Where is the Li family? Come out and die. When he opened his mouth, his voice was like thunder rolling in the sky, spreading throughout the entire state capital. An astonishing aura surrounded him. It looks like a man of immortality above 9 heavens, with a terrifying aura. White cloud is all twisting. The airflow set off a strong wind and swept in all directions. And not just him, except for the old man with his hands behind his back and an indifferent expression on his face. The same is true for the other 3 true disciples of Lingdao sect. They didn't hide the slightest bit. The spiritual light rushed out, distorting the surroundings. It was extremely terrifying. There are even waves of coercion coming down from the air, directly pressing down on the hearts of the people below. Hiss. 4 immortals. What fairy? That's a cultivator. Such a terrifying aura. I'm afraid it's not the legendary Qi Ming Shou. A Qiming cultivator at the same level as the leader of the Dianxiang sect. It's so terrifying. Are you here to trouble the Li family? The Li family is miserable. Why are there so many Qiming cultivators trying to destroy the Li family? What is so miserable? Mr. Li stepped on Qingtianmen, Longxiang Temple, Yecheng Palace, and 9th Stage Palace. His strength is so strong that he will be able to kill these Qiming cultivators. A large number of people and practitioners talked about it. There are worries. There are also excited ones. Even more fearful and wanted to run away directly. Some people feel this terrifying coercion, and feel that the Li family is absolutely unstoppable. There are also 21 people who firmly believe that Mr. Li will be able to suppress the cultivator in the sky by sweeping the invincible. But it's the state capital. There are not many knowledgeable people. Soon, someone recognized Ling Daozong's clothing. His face suddenly turned pale, and he yelled in horror. Yes, a disciple of Ling Dao sect. They are from the Ling Dao sect. Run away. We will be implicated by the Li family, and the disciples of Ling Dao sect will wash the entire state capital with blood. His screams spread. Many people were shocked when they heard it, and the blood on their faces disappeared in a flash, full of panic. For some powerful forces or martial masters, the existence of Ling Dao sect is no secret. Ling Daozong never bothered to hide. Every action is above board. So, many people know the behavior style of Ling Dao sect disciples. Discovered at this time, the 5 cultivators above are actually from Ling Dao sect. All these people were terrified. They don't even think about it, and some even don't even care about their family members. Immediately fled to the outside of the city in a panic. If you still have confidence in the Li family. After all, the old man of the Li family is extremely tyrannical. Destroyed Qingtianmen, Longxiang Temple, Yecheng Palace, and 9th Stage Palace. Coercion over the entire country of Yan. No one dared to be hostile to this old man. But now it is the legendary Spirit Dao sect. The number 1 force in the 6 nations. So tyrannical that he can shoot at will, and he can obliterate the terrorist forces in the entire Yan kingdom. Who can rival such power? From more than 1,500 years ago. The rise of the Ling Dao sect saw the people of the 6 countries as straw people. I don't know how many people in the 6 countries have fought against it. But without exception, all were killed. Not only the whole family died cleanly, but the surrounding county towns were also taken into account, leaving no bones or dogs behind. These things, ordinary people and ordinary practitioners don't understand. But the dignitaries with status and the martial master all know about it. How could the Li family be able to compete with the Ling Dao sect? Things you don't even have to think about. The Li family is over. The state capital of Qinzhou is also over. To be slaughtered clean. For a while, all over the state capital, there were people running for their lives in a panic, causing chaos. Li's backyard. Li Yu lay on the grand teacher's chair, closed her eyes and meditated. It has been 10 days since I finally came back from destroying the 9th Stage Palace. Think of the harvest this time. He was still very happy. Longxiang Temple has occupied Yuezhou for more than 400 years. But it took too many benefits. And the temple is tax-free, which also gives too much benefit to the female elephant. Yecheng Palace, 9th Stage Palace. All members of the royal family. Being able to support so many private soldiers is naturally very rich. There are many kings and princes of Yan. It is possible to raise troops and call yourself a prince under Linjiang Pass. It's just the 15th road. And more than half of them are still making up the numbers. Only a few thousand people. Nowadays, my Li family has Heavenly Origin High Rank Meat Field 9. Heavenly Origin Mid Rank Meat Field 29. Heavenly Origin Low Level Meat Field 86. There are 322 ordinary meat fields. A smile appeared on the corner of Li Yu's mouth. Li Daosu and others, all are Heavenly Origin 4th Stage's cultivation base. About 500 caddies of Heavenly Origin High Rank exotic animal meat per day is enough. After all, their practice mainly relies on spiritual coins. The meat of different animals only provides the nutrients needed by the body enhancement. Certainly, refining spirit power also consumes physical strength and energy. All of these have to be transformed into different beast meat. So, every day, their Lee family can save a large amount of heavenly origin level alien meat. It's all wealth. Sudden, he saw 5 streaks of light coming across the sky in the distance. The streamer hovered over the state capital. I also saw that disciple of Lingdao sect come out and let his Li family suffer death. A strange look suddenly appeared on his face. Before he beheaded Ren Baichuan. It has been more than 2 months. He didn't find it strange that someone from Lingdaozong came to the door again. More than 2 months. It is enough for Lingdaozong to investigate Ren Baichuan's whereabouts and even the cause of death clearly. He never doubted the influence of such a largest sect in the 6 countries. The pen is not small. 1 Kiming 4th floor, 1 Kiming 2nd floor, 3 Kiming 1st floor. He whispered to himself, without much expression on his face. Such strength, put it in the country of Yan. That's disastrous. Enough to wipe out all the forces of Yan. But in front of him. But it's not enough to watch. That's me, if it's another ancestor of the Traverser. He shook his head. It is estimated that this time it will be dead. As for the previous 2 times, that should still work out. After all, only by killing the Marquis of Jing'an will the 3rd hostile force be activated. And to be able to kill the Marquis of Jing'an, his strength would not be much weaker than that of the beautiful woman Bai Huan. Ren Baichuan's strength. It's also not much better than Bai Huan, except that he knows how to attack souls. These 2 hurdles are easy. And at the moment, it's hard to tell the truth. It is estimated that this is also the result of Ren Baichuan's counterattack to death by Shen Yan Vientian Star. If Ren Baichuan can survive, regardless of being captured, or run away, the scene in front of him should not appear directly. Even with the beautiful woman Bai Huan in the first link, there is another choice. One link after another, every step is startling. Ordinary traveler ancestors, if they take a wrong step, or don't think clearly enough, they will definitely die. The kind where the whole family dies together. Look at the entire state capital. They all panicked because of the 5 members of the Lingdao sect in the sky. He said softly, Lingdaozong let you die, now that it has attracted the attention of Lingdaozong. So this time it doesn't matter whether you killed 5 people or captured 5 people. There will inevitably be another wave of Lingdao sect. That being the case, naturally, he no longer bothered to capture these people. Now that we're here, then they all die here. His voice is not loud, but it was transmitted directly to the sky, and exploded around the Lingdao sect. A mere scumbag, an ant-like thing, dare to talk nonsense. The Lingdao sect disciple, Wu Jiyu, who came out turned cold and looked down at Li Yu. Call. He directly stepped on the flying sword, turning into a sword ray. Slashed towards Li Yu directly from the air. The generation of ants 170, court death. Today not only you will die, but all the grassroots in the city will die too. The other 3 disciples of Lingdao sect drank coldly. Without hesitation, incarnated as Sword Ray, he slashed at Li Yu at an astonishing speed. Although I know that Li Yu is not weak. After all, Ren Baichuan fell into the hands of this person. But now they are 4 people working together. And brother Wu Jiyu. It's still the cultivator on the 2nd floor of Kiming. There is absolutely no problem in killing this person. All 4 of them were full of confidence. They are all sword cultivators of the Lingdao sect. It's not in the same vein as Bai Huan and Ren Baichuan. It's just that they accepted the task. And they're sword cultivators. The strongest is lethality. 1 sword can break Wanfa. 1 sword can split the world. The 4 of them worked together and made a sudden move, which was enough to change the color of the cultivators on the 3rd floor of Kiming. And the grass man from the Li family. Can it compete with Kiming's 3-layer cultivator? Totally impossible. Kiming 3-layer cultivator. In their Lingdao sect, they can be regarded as the best among true disciples. Some deacons, but this cultivation base. The 5 countries other than the Spirit Kingdom. Basically, there is no strong person at this level. Their master, Luo Shang, casually followed behind with his hands behind his back. This trip, he just brought a few disciples to practice. By the way, harvest some straw men and sacrifice magical item. What is the Li family below? He didn't to put in one's eyes at all. With him enlighten the 4 realms. In Lingdao sect, they are all first-class Dharma protectors. The 5 kingdoms placed outside the spiritual kingdom. That is invincible. Where will any character in the Five Kingdoms be to put in one's eyes? When I go back this time, it's time for closed-door training and try to advance to the 5th floor of Kimming. He thought. But, at this time, sudden mutation. One after another blood-colored sharp arrows shot across the sky. 46%. Chapter 138 instantly kill the guardian of the Lingdao sect. 5th more. What's this? Luo Shang stared at the long bloody arrow that was shot towards his disciple. There was something wrong in his heart. But only for a moment of hesitation. Those bloody long arrows. He has already collided with Wu Jiyu and other 4 Kimming cultivators. These bloody long arrows. Naturally, the Tower of Watch will shoot out automatically. Several people swooped down. It has already entered within 1,000 feet of the watchtower. A mere arrow, dare to get my face. Senior brother Wu Jiyu sneered, his long hair flying all over his head, and the flying sword under his feet condensed into a huge sword ray, completely covering him. This is their sword master's specialty of controlling the sword. Turn yourself into a sword. A large number of sword chi densely packed, flying around him. An astonishing and terrifying sharp breath came out. The air is easily torn, and the airflow screams. The speed of the whole person broke the sound barrier in an instant, like a flying sword with endless sharpness. But, the bloody long arrow is easy. Pierce those layers of sword chi. Like a blood-colored lightning, it passed through Brother Wu Gu's eyebrows. No hindrance. Brother Wu Gu's eyebrows. A blood hole appeared instantly, and a few drops of blood splashed out. Well, senior brother Wu Jiyu showed a daze on his face. It's as if they don't know what's going on. Then the soul was shattered, and the consciousness fell into eternal darkness. Not just him. Beside him, a male and 2 female Lingdao sect disciples who also performed the technique of turning the body into a sword. He was also pierced between the eyebrows by the bloody long arrow in an instant. Drops of blood splashed in the air, reflecting the dazzling sunlight. That's sunshine. Bright red, bright red. 4 bodies fell from the sky. There is no trace of sword chi. Luo Shang was stunned. His eyes widened a bit, staring at this scene in a daze. Even he didn't turn his mind a little bit. What's the situation? Died. Own 4 proud disciples. Died. Was shot directly in front of him. Was shot in an instant. He looked at the ancestor of the Li family who was sitting on a recliner in the yard and hadn't even stood up. This person, according to information, it seems to be called Li Yu, right? He didn't even stand up. So, who shot the arrow? Without waiting for him to think clearly. Silently. The second round of bloody long arrows was shot out. This round, 10 blood-colored long arrows were all aimed at him. You should die this moment. He really reacted. The casualness and indifference on his face disappeared, and he stared at Li Yu in shock and anger. Both eyes were bloodshot. Died. The 4 Kimming disciples who I worked so hard to cultivate. All dead. Damn it. He was furious in his heart, and his whole face was slightly distorted. Boom. Amazing magic power erupted from him. A shield with a dazzling cyan aura burst out of his body. A lot of rune poured out of the shield. The runes are densely packed, covering him. He opened his mouth to spit. A bright sword ray was ejected by him. It was a splendid flying sword of azure blue. An astonishing reiatsu emanated from flying sword. Just like a real cultivator, with an indescribable spirituality. Boom. Flying sword for a moment. Then it directly collided with the 10 blood-colored long arrows that flew over. Bang bang bang. 10 bloody long arrows exploded. But flying sword was also knocked out by 10 amazing forces. So powerful. Comparable to Kimming's 3-layer cultivator's full blow. No wonder you can kill my 4 apprentices with 1 arrow. Luo Shang was startled, but in the blink of an eye. Another 10 bloody long arrows came. At this point, he already had a faint guess in his heart, and looked at the place where the long arrow shot in horror. Hiss. Heaven and earth exotic treasure, watchtower. There is actually a watchtower here. He sucked in a breath of cold air, horrified in his heart. As the protector of Lingdao sect, he is naturally very clear about the horror of the watchtower. Every breath can shoot 3 waves of arrows. Every arrow is like a full blow from a 3-layer cultivator. Facing such a world exotic treasure, they are 30 cultivators from the 1st and 2nd floors of Kimming. If no formation is formed, also be easily killed. The horrifying thought in my heart passed. Instead, he felt a surge of ecstasy. The watchtower is too precious. Even if he is the protector of Lingdao sect, he belongs to the middle level of Lingdao sect. If I can get a watchtower, that is also a great harvest far exceeding his wealth. Sell this watchtower. The exchange spirit coins. It will definitely allow him to buy a lot of resources and be promoted to the 5th floor of Kimming. Ha ha ha. What is the death of 4 disciples? As long as I can advance to the 5th level of Kimming, then everything is worth it. These thoughts swirled in his mind. But without any hesitation under his feet, he retreated directly. Rush forward, even if he is a Kimming 4th level cultivator. It will also be consumed alive by this watchtower. But as long as you get out of the attack range of the watchtower. What is he afraid of? The Muir Lee family can be destroyed with a flick of a finger. He doesn't believe it. The Lee family can still hide in the shelter of the watchtower. As long as someone from the Lee family walks out of the shelter, he can kill the Lee family and get the Tower of Watch. Block the next 2 waves of attacks again. He exited the attack range of the watchtower. Zah, he didn't go too far. Li Yu, come out and die. If you don't come out, I'll slaughter this city full of straw people first. Ha ha ha. Listen, your deaths today are all because of Li. He laughed out loud. A pair of eyes looked towards Li Yu with some excitement. But just a glance. The voice in his mouth stopped abruptly. Because he found out, Li Yu is gone, not in that yard anymore. But he just, although because of too much emotional ups and downs, I ignored the other party. But with his realm, even if it is ignored, as long as the opponent is locked, it is absolutely impossible for the other party to escape his induction. Are you looking for me? A faint voice suddenly sounded from behind him. Luo Zhang's pupils suddenly shrank. Silently, appearing behind oneself. He didn't even think about it. That spiritual flying sword instantly turned into a terrifying sword ray, piercing towards Li Yu behind him like tearing apart everything. And at the same time, he turned around directly and squeezed the sword formula. It is time to display the secret flying sword technique from their lineage of sword cultivators. But turn around and see for the first time. He froze. Eyes are full of disbelief. I saw. Li Yu stretched out 2 fingers. He casually sandwiches his flying sword that has been cultivated for decades and has become a spiritual magical item. As if it's not a frightening flying sword. It's just a little fish struggling. This scene, the impact on him was too great. 2 fingers. Just clamp your own flying sword. He is the protector of the sword cultivator lineage. As soon as the flying sword comes out, even the enlightened 4-layer cultivator of the same rank will change color. How could it be possible for someone to clamp the flying sword with 2 fingers? A chill rose from the soles of his feet and rushed straight to his forehead. The entire scalp was numb at this moment, as if it was about to split open. Danger. The Li family in front of me is Li Yuei. The horror of strength far exceeds him. Escape. Want to escape? Back to you, Li Yu said lightly. A light golden true chi poured into the flying sword in his hand. Burn that spirituality directly. The breath that kept Luo Shang inside was also burned clean. Shake hands again. The flying sword came out of his hand, with monstrous and terrifying power. It directly hit Luo Zhang's body, that cyan shield with astonishing aura. Boom. The shield exploded directly. It was simply impossible to bear this extremely ferocious force. Flying sword's potential remains unabated. Directly piercing through the magic power barrier that Luo Shang rushed out in a hurry, piercing his body as well. Large pieces of blood spattered. However, Kimming's 4th-tier cultivator, after all, already belongs to Kimming's mid-rank cultivator. Even if a big hole was pierced in the chest. Still not dead. It's just that the breath is a lot weaker. Run away. This is a grand great master who surpassed 9 cycles divine palace realm. Luo Shang was full of fear. He didn't care about his battered body at all. Petal flying sword. It will turn into a streamer and flee to the distance. In front of me, still want to escape. Li Yu's voice is not loud. There was a gleam between his brows. A terrifying force of repression. It fell on Luo Shang in an instant. The cultivator on the 4th floor of Kimming's face changed drastically, and he was directly suppressed and fell down. Li Yu was expressionless. True chi surges under his feet. Li Diz. Ling Shu stepped into the air and appeared next to Luo Shang in a flash. Directly slapped Luo Shang, and entered the range of the watchtower. Immediately, 10 blood-colored long arrows pierced through. No, Luo Shang roared unwillingly. His face was full of despair. But there was still a terrifying suppressive force all over him. Let him not be able to organize any defense at all. Puff puff. Bloody long arrows pierced him through. The soul was also torn and devoured by the bloody long arrow. And at the same time, a burst of blood erupted from the watchtower. The hazy layer of blood at the bottom of the tower rushed up directly, almost breaking through the 30% dividing line. A little upgrade. Li Yu was taken aback for a moment, and a smile appeared on his face. Unexpected. Shot these guys. The Tower of Watch has been upgraded a little bit. Nowadays, the attacking power of the Tower of Watch has reached the 4th floor of Kiming with a full blow. Scope. It also reached 1,500 feet. If Luo Shang enters again, 10 blood-colored long arrows pierced through, and they will definitely be shot and exploded in the first place. And their storage bags. This old fellow seems to have some status in Lingdao sect. I don't know how many harvests will be in the storage bag. Li Yu was delighted. He feels this Lingdao sect can be regarded as a very qualified boy who gives money. 47%. Chapter 139 Amazing Harvest, 6 Kingdoms Region, First Update. It took a while. Li Yu carefully organized the 5 storage bags. The smile on his face became wider and wider as he tidied up. Earn big. This time. Really big money. It is much more rewarding than his Li family's hard work in conquering the land of the next state, destroying Qingtianmen, Longxiang Temple, Yecheng Palace, and 9th Stage Palace. Divine Palace Mid-Rank Meat Field. 4 low-level meat fields in the Divine Palace. These 5 meat fields alone are worth more than 60,000 spirit coins. If it weren't for this Divine Palace mid-rank meat field, the lifespan would have already expired by half, and it wouldn't be worth more than 30,000 spirit coins. He whispered happily to himself. Meat fields at the Divine Palace level. If 100 caddies of exotic animal meat is produced daily, then the lifespan is about 10 years. However, if 10 caddies of exotic animal meat are produced daily, the lifespan will be extended accordingly, reaching 100 years. These Lingdaozong disciplines, they are all maintained according to the daily output of 10 caddies. After all, 10 caddies of same rank meat a day is enough for their bodies and cultivation. 6 pieces of magical items in the middle rank of heavenly rank, 12 pieces of magical items in the lower rank of heavenly rank, and dozens of items below. Heavenly rank middle grade spirit talisman 8 pieces, heavenly rank low level spirit talisman 25 pieces, and hundreds of pieces below. Hundreds of various elixir, and elixir materials. There are also 2 sets of formations, one of heavenly rank mid-tier and one of heavenly rank lower. 160 Keeling pills. 3 heaven and earth spirit stones. 8,600 spiritual coins. Li Yu looked satisfied. This time the harvest adds up. More than 120,000 spirit coins. Amazing catch. It can be exchanged for a piece of the lowest world exotic treasure. Certainly, half of the harvest comes from the 5 Divine Palace level meat farms. It seems that the Kiming cultivator of Lingdao sect is indeed a meat field. 17,153, and the 4th floor of Kiming has the Divine Palace mid-rank meat field. Quote. Too rich. Lingdao sect must have a place where high-grade heterogeneous species can grow. And, with the wealth of Lingdao sect, there is no exotic treasure in the world. You have to guard against it. He became wary. Even if it is strong. Still have money, wealth couple legal land. Among the 4 elements of cultivating immortals, money is the first. Money can buy anything, while at the same time. The whole city was excited. The old man of the Li family is indeed invincible. 5 Kiming cultivators, it was so easy to kill them all. For a while, a large number of practitioners were full of excitement and rushed towards the Li family's conscription point. These underlying practitioners, not necessarily much knowledge. But clearly, at present, the Li family is definitely the strongest family in Yan country. The imperial court may not be as powerful as the Li family. Following such a family, in this troubled world, will naturally be safer. And some prestigious practitioners who fled in panic before. All eyes widened, full of disbelief. Ling, the cultivator of the Ling Dao sect, was beheaded by Mr. Li with just 3 or 2 hits. This is the legendary Spirit Dao sect. The number 1 force of the 6 nations. Overwhelmed the invincible sect of the 6 kingdoms. Li.to what extent has Mr. Li's strength reached? It's too strong, it's terrifyingly powerful. Those disciples of the Lingdao sect were shot and killed immediately. No, I have to escape from Yan kingdom immediately. That's right, the Li family has completely offended the Lingdao sect. It's impossible to say that the whole country of Yan will be slaughtered. These people looked even paler. Quickly tidy up and prepare to leave the country of Yan directly. Killed so many disciples of Ling Daozong. Yan Guodu will definitely be angered. There are even quite a few people. I was scolding the Li family in my heart. Well done, what are you doing to offend Ling Daozong? Offended obediently suffer death, but also murder. Hundreds of millions of people in the country of Yan may be implicated. There are not a few martial masters who have this idea. Certainly, no one dared to show it. But even so, it also aroused the reaction of the watchtower, and a long bloody arrow shot out. All those who are hostile to the Li family within a range of 1,500 feet. Shoot them all, leave no one behind. The next day, Li Yu went to the back mountain of Fuchang. Qinzhou Fuchang was built at the foot of a mountain range. The range of this mountain range is extremely wide. Extending to the west, it entered the territory of Snow Country in the west. The Yan Kingdom faces an unimaginably large lake in the east. It borders Hu Country to the north, Liao Country to the south, and Snow Country to the west. Further north of the Hu Kingdom is the Ling Kingdom controlled by the Ling Dao sect, and it is also the largest country in the Six Kingdoms. And in the north of Snow Country, west of Shaman Country. It is the last country of the six countries, Qing Country. It is the Six Nations area. Outside of the six countries, they are all covered by vast mountains, and there are many demonic beasts in the mountains, which are impassable. Except for Ling Dao sect, the rest of the countries. The specific situation outside the six countries is not clear. We can only get to know a little bit through occasional people from the outside world entering into the communication. Actually, except for the omnipresent world-class trader like the traveling bird. Occasionally, there will still be airships outside the Six Nations area entering the Six Nations and trading with the Six Nations. Soon, Li Yu traveled less than 100 miles in the mountains, and a valley appeared in front of her eyes. In the valley, a large number of soldiers trained and practiced in it. Here, it is the elite training camp under their Li family. Now, even if 500 were allocated to set up Jinyue, there would still be more than 8,000 people. After destroying Qingtian Gate, Longxiang Temple, Yecheng Palace, and Ninth Stage Palace, the loyalty of each soldier in the Li family army began to soar. More than 3,000 people at one time met the requirements and entered the elite training camp. Grandfather, Li Zixing saluted with some doubts. Grandpa today, why come here when you have time? Shouldn't we bask in the sun in the yard? CBAB. He is a little far from Fuchang. I don't know the scene of the arrival of the Lingdao sect yesterday. Call the martial master over. Li Yu ordered. In the elite training camp, there are naturally martial masters. And not a lot. After all, there is a martial master in the Li family army, and if the loyalty reaches the standard, he will also be sent here. At elite training camp, what realm does cultivation base achieve? Just eat any realm's exotic animal meat. Because at 10 times the speed of practice. So the quota is 30 caddies of same rank different animal meat a day. Compared with Li Jiazhen, 1 caddy of same rank exotic animal meat a day is 30 times more. Not long, a martial master was summoned. Seeing Li Yu in front of them, everyone showed surprise and admiration, and quickly knelt down on one knee, shouting, "Goodbye, sir." A total of 122 martial masters. The strongest of them is a 6th stage martial master. Down there are 2 5th stage martial masters and 5 4th stage martial masters. Others, they are all low-level martial masters. Even here, there are nearly 50 people, originally only body refining Wu Nai. It was after entering the elite training camp that he broke through and became a martial master. You have all practiced the method of condensing the military soul, let's see the progress. The one who progresses the fastest will become the first military marquis, and I have a reward. Li Yu said lightly. Naturally, he had already given the high-rank method of condensing the military soul to this side. Any army must have a general. An army with a military spirit is heavy. So, he wants to choose the best martial master of talent. Yes, everyone said excitedly. After half an hour, the other martial masters all dispersed, leaving only a young man who was less than 30 years old. This young man is 3rd stage martial master. Although he was very excited at this time, he was clearly under control. A pair of eyes are extremely sharp, but also somewhat calm. Among the 122 martial masters, the one who mastered the method of military soul the fastest. And it is much faster than the 2nd place martial master. Very well, what's your name? Li Yu looked at the young man in front of her with satisfaction. He didn't expect that. In my elite training camp, there is actually such a talented martial master. Ing to the old man, my name is Zhang Song. Young men salute, neither humble nor overbearing. His voice is thick and sharp. Carrying a spear on his back, he is actually proficient in marksmanship. In elite training camp, body refining practitioners have to practice woohoo severing door knife. But when you get to the martial master realm, you can change your favorite weapon. After all, martial master, it's not a small soldier anymore. Zhang Song. Li Yu was taken aback. His expression was a little strange. The name, rather, it reminded him of the invincible general in the romance Before Time Travel. But he was just a little startled, and he didn't think much about it. After all, it couldn't be the same person. Starting today, you will lead the first 500 people and condense the military spirit. I'll give you 100 spirit coins, the spirit rank top grade true essence martial art, Zillion Tian Luo Lingju. He waved lightly. Suddenly, a small bag appeared in front of him, with an astonishing aura radiating from it. At the same time, point out. Press it between the eyebrows of Zhang Song. Mental energy surged and passed. Zillion Tian Luo Lingju, to Zhang Song. This method, he also learned it from a jade slip in the Baihuan storage bag. This method does not require magic power. Only mental energy at the cultivator level is required. And his mental energy is so huge that it has already surpassed the Qiming cultivator, so it can be used naturally. A military lord who can condense the soul of the army. He was trained as the family's right-hand man. Nature will not be stingy. Although, Purple Lotus Heavenly Luo Lingju is precious, the cultivation technique can only be used to its full potential if it is given to people. Leaving Zhang Song with his eyes closed to comprehend. Li Yu took out the only medium-grade formation of heavenly rank in her hand. Start to arrange in this elite training camp. This formation is named 9th Stage Gathering Spirit Formation. It can consume spirit coins, gather spirit power, and accelerate the cultivation speed of practitioner and cultivator. Now there are many spiritual coins in hand. He naturally wants to cultivate a truly strong army. He had a hunch. Future. This will be extremely important. 47%. Chapter 140. The Proud Daughter of the Nine True Spirit Realm. Second more. 9th stage gathers spirits to form a large array. Has 9th stage effect. The spirit coins required for each first stage are different. And the 9th stage is fully open, reaching the extreme, which will greatly increase the speed of practitioner and cultivator. This is what Li Yu got from the storage bag of the enlightened 4-layer Lingdao sect monk. It looks like it is the cultivation formation used by that cultivator himself. To turn on the 9th stage effect, you need 900 spirit coins a month. I don't think that cultivator of the spiritual Dao sect on the 4th floor of enlightenment dared to be so extravagant. Li Yu shook his head. 900 spirit coins a month. 1 year is 10,000 spirits and 800 pieces. 10 years is 108,000 pieces. No matter how rich and powerful the disciples of Lingdao sect are, they are far from such extravagance. First stage effect, covering a radius of 100 meters, can double the concentration of spirit power. The effect of spirit power will get worse as you get farther away, and it will gradually decrease when you are 100 meters away. It's not effective if it's 1,000 meters away. However, every time the first stage effect is turned on, the coverage area will also increase. Li Yu whispered, this 9th stage gathering spirit formation. It is definitely an extremely precious cultivation formation. He came to the center of this camp. Flip between hands. Take out an array disc shining with amazing aura. It is densely packed, and there are a lot of runes swimming around, like little snakes. He drove the formation plate into the ground. He also took out the 99 and 81 array flags. Break into the ground in 81 special positions in the camp. Then go back to where the array is. Put 10,800 spirit coins into it. Nowadays, he has a lot of spiritual coins in his hand. There are more than 31,000 pieces. After all, he minted 30,000 spiritual coins at one time. However, after the children's cultivation base reaches Heavenly Origin 4th stage, he gave each of them 1,000 spirit coins, which was enough to cultivate until the sky became heavy. And he also has 3 heaven and earth spirit stones in his hand. Enough to mint another 30,000 spirit coins. He doesn't feel sorry for spending tens of thousands of spirit coins here. After all, the 9th stage gathering spirit formation with full 9th stage effect. It will increase the spiritual chi concentration within a radius of 900 meters by 4.5 times. This is an extremely terrifying improvement. Body refining practitioner practices in it, and the speed of practice is at least 10 times faster. Even if the martial master is among them, the speed of practice is also 7 or 8 times faster. Cooperating with their original practice speed of 10 times, it is simply terrifying. If you still have spirit coins in hand, the speed of practice needs to be further improved. As the spirit coins entered the array, immediately, streams of spiritual light rushed from all around the camp. Stormy, massive winds are blowing from all directions, bringing amazing spirit power. This is within the mountains. The concentration of spirit power is much higher than in the city. Come together this time. It is extremely rich. It can be called a small holy place for practice. All the soldiers in the elite training camp were alarmed. He stared dumbfounded at this astonishing scene. Especially some martial masters. They can feel the spirit power in the void becoming stronger at a speed visible to the naked eye. That level of richness simply made them ecstatic. Practicing in such an environment, even a pig would turn into a strange beast. They looked towards the center of the camp. The eyes of the figure with his hands on his back were all frenzied. Needless to say, this must be his handwriting. The loyalty of each one has soared. Very good, Li Yu said with satisfaction. At this time, soldiers with full loyalty of 100 points are already gradually crossing the hurdle of 500 soldiers. And there are more than 3,000 diehard loyalists with loyalty points above 90 points. These, cultivated, they will definitely be the powerful help of his Li family in the future. So he is willing to pay such a big capital. Ding. Your family's martial art, Bao Shanyan, observed the Chenjiang mountain for the first time. He was very happy and inspired, and he understood the true meaning of Zishan, the true meaning of heavenly rank. After more than a month, Li Yu is watching the World Channel chat in the yard. Suddenly, a message pops up. Immediately, a towering purple mountain appeared in his mind. There are demonic beasts roaring on the mountain, ferocious birds spreading their wings, ancient relics roaring, ancient trees rising into the sky, Beizong waterfall like the Milky Way. A huge and majestic momentum rushed out of this purple mountain undisguisedly. That is a terrifying force capable of suppressing everything. It seems that even if the gods and demons appear, they will be directly suppressed. The majestic mountain stands at the end of the earth, just like a supreme god overlooking the vast land. What a strong momentum. It's not weaker than the true spirit of Thunder Demon. Li Yu was surprised. Purple Mountain. This is not the junction of Yan Country and Snow Country. Is that the world-famous Forbidden Place? Could it be possible? Where did Li Ziran actually go? His complexion changed slightly. That Forbidden Place. He has understood. Rumor has it that it was a sacred mountain that fell from the sky more than 2,000 years ago. At that time, it caused a shock in the entire Six-Nation region. At that time, Lingdao sect didn't even exist. At that time, the number one force in the Six Kingdoms, Blood Slaughter Sword Gate, wanted to refine Zishan. It's a pity I don't know what happened. All the disciples of Shui Tu Jianmen disappeared overnight. Live but not dead. No one knows where the disciples of Shui Tu Jian sect went. Since then, the 6 countries have counted 100 years chaotically, and the Lingdao sect has risen for some reason. So, see this purple mountain. Li Yu was worried. This kid, Li Ziran, won't go to this forbidden place to observe, right? Uneasy life. He has a headache. This forbidden place. But even the Blood Slaughter Sword sect more than 2,000 years ago was destroyed. The Blood Slaughter Sword Gate at that time. It is estimated that it will not be much weaker than the current Lingdao sect. Children and grandchildren have their own blessings. He shook his head. There is no plan to go to Zishan. After all, it was useless for him to go. He doesn't know where Li Ziran is. Others didn't find it, but they folded it inside. I don't know if Marshal Dao has the means of long-distance communication. Thinking about it, there should be some, and I will definitely get a few copies back. He whispered softly. A mortal's communication talisman requires magic power. Practitioner is not available at all. Afternoon. Li Daosu hurried over. His face was full of joy. Father, Fang Qing is about to give birth. Oh, let's go. Li Yu is overjoyed. Finally, is the 4th-generation great-grandson of his old Li family about to be born. This is a big deal for their old Li family. On behalf of family members, there will be one more. It also represents from now on. His Li family will have 4 generations under one roof. He, the patriarch of the Li family, is even more worthy of his name. The Shuiyan Mountains at the junction of Yan Country and Snow Country. The mountains. Speaking of it, it is still the same mountain range behind Qinzhou City. It's just too long. Asking for flowers. Stretching for more than 4,000 miles, the width is also astonishing. The widest point is more than 700 or 800 miles. Deep in the mountains, a majestic purple mountain stands on the ground. The purple air is dense, and there are purple clouds and mist surrounding it. There are purple thunder and lightning shining all year round. A terrifying power came out from Zishan, shocked all within a radius of 100 miles. Birds and beasts dare not approach. Even the demonic beasts retreated in awe, staying away from the purple mountain. At this time, the two figures fought fiercely within a distance of only 30 miles from Purple Mountain. Where the two have been. The rocks exploded, the towering ancient trees exploded, and the vegetation turned into powder. Hold the mountain. Li Ziran had black hair flying all over his head, and his eyes seemed to have turned purple. Clenching fists with both hands, embracing the void. The phantom of a purple mountain was condensed. With a terrifying power, he was hugged and pushed to the opposite side. The air exploded, and the airflow scattered into a strong wind. Wisps of light burst out and hit the ground like a big hole. Boom! The terrifying roar was deafening, as if thunder were constantly exploding all around. What a terrifying comprehension! It's actually possible to use the Baoshan seal. Comprehend the true meaning of Zishan. This is definitely the true meaning of heavenly rank. Opposite, it was a girl in white, holding a snow-white long sword, and said in surprise. Her clothes fluttered, 3,000 black hairs hung down her waist, and her skin was as white as the first snow. The delicate facial features are a bit cold, and an astonishing chill floats around, forming ice. She stepped back and danced the long sword in her hand. Dao Dao sword ray is like a dragon in the ice and snow, cold to the bone, but extremely powerful. Bang bang bang. A series of sword shadows collided with the phantom of Zishan. One of the two rushed forward, the other retreated violently, and in a blink of an eye, a deep trace hundreds of meters long was plowed on the ground. Ha ha ha. Fall down. Li Ziran roared happily. Before, he was severely suppressed by the girl, and he was very embarrassed. Now once he realizes the true meaning of Zishan, his strength will skyrocket. Naturally, I want to get my face back. He used the phantom of the purple mountain in his hand as a weapon, and directly smashed it at the girl opposite. Boom boom boom. The girl resisted with a sword. But in just a moment, blood overflowed from the corner of his mouth. Obviously, it is quite difficult to resist Li Ziran at this time. Boom. With the final blow, Zishan phantom exploded. The girl was sent flying by the fierce and terrifying force. He vomited blood from his mouth, fell to the ground and staggered back 3 steps before standing still. With a look of shock on her face, she looked at the boy opposite. I lost. Defeated by this boy of the same age. She is the proud daughter of the 9 true spiritual Doma in generation. Ranked number 92 on the Dive Abyss list. Can't think of it at all. To actually meet such an astonishing arrogance in this mortal domain. And she can see it. The opponent's cultivation base did not reach the Divine Palace realm. But not enough Divine Palace realm's cultivation base. Beat yourself. It was simply unacceptable to her. As the proud daughter of a generation. Only she has ever leapfrogged to fight. Where can someone leapfrog and fight her? A deep sense of frustration rose from her heart. Ha ha ha. You have already lost. You will be my wife Li Ziran from now on. Li Ziran waved his hand. There was also a domineering look on his immature face. The girl opened her mouth, not knowing what to say at this moment. Mouth, not knowing what to say at this moment. Mouth, not knowing what to say at this moment.